Chapter 764. Northern part of the Tianfeng Zone. Yunling Zhao Clan. Zhao Feng. The memory of an unfamiliar youth appeared in Zhao Feng's mind. At this moment, the purple soul sea was absorbing the memories of a remnant soul. Coincidentally, this youth had the same surname as Zhao Feng. With Zhao Feng's God's spiritual eye, he soon gained control of this body. Not good. His organs have been severely injured, and he's lost too much blood. Zhao Feng's expression changed slightly. Although he had been reincarnated through possession, the youth's body was basically dead before he took over the body. This was good for him. Zhao Feng wouldn't feel too guilty. After all, if he hadn't come, this youth would have died already. Immediately, Zhao Feng circulated less than 1/10 of his intent to heal the wounds on his body and reactivate the life force in his body. Because this body was about to die, its life force hadn't been extinguished, so the entire process was quite smooth. This body was quite suitable. Zhao Feng didn't want to find another body. Next, there was something very important that Zhao Feng wanted to confirm. Zhao Feng scanned his body and soul with his God's spiritual eye. Luckily, the cursed words of death have been completely destroyed. Zhao Feng let out a long breath. The golden cicada shedding technique he had used could only keep the God's spiritual eye's forbidden area. Most of his soul power and body had been eroded by the cursed words of death. Usually, there were 3 ways to be reborn. The first was to steal someone's body and revive. This method was relatively simple, but it had a lot of risk. The second was to revive from a drop of blood. The child demigod's method was quite high-end and was built on the foundation of a strong body and intent. The third was to revive through reincarnation. If one was lucky, they would revive into a disciple of a 10,000 ancient race bloodline or superfamily. If they were unlucky, they would revive into a pig or dog. However, if one could control the third method, it would be perfect. Relatively speaking, Zhao Feng's method was the most low-end, but it was also the only method he could use. Zhao Feng didn't know how to use blood rebirth. Even the Emperor of Death might not be able to use it. Even someone as strong as the child demigod could only cultivate the golden Kun's sacred body to a very high level when he was at the peak of the demigod realm. Moreover, blood rebirth didn't suit Zhao Feng. This was because his flesh and blood couldn't stop the power of the cursed words of death. Once he was reborn, the power of the cursed words of death would continue. On the other hand, the lowest level of possession and rebirth, or in other words, reincarnation, was more suitable for Zhao Feng. This body is still young and has just reached the true spirit realm. It's very suitable. Zhao Feng inspected it and was very satisfied. If the target was strong, it wouldn't be suitable for Zhao Feng either. It wasn't that Zhao Feng didn't want to possess a stronger target. It was that in order to stop the cursed words of death, Zhao Feng would have to give up 90% of his soul power and even his physical body. With just 10% of his soul power, he wouldn't be able to take over a target at the Void God realm or higher. Even if the target was at the Origin Core realm or higher, it would still struggle. If it was at the true spirit realm, it would be much easier. The previous owner of this body had just died, which saved Zhao Feng the trouble of finding him. At this moment in time, Zhao Feng let out a breath in his heart. Firstly, the cursed words of death had been dissolved. Secondly, the talent of this body was much stronger than in his previous life, and it was more suitable for cultivating the golden Kun's sacred lightning body and the 5 elemental wind lightning technique. The only unfortunate thing was that the bloodline of the mystic ice-scaled race wouldn't be able to continue. However, there were gains and losses in this world, and nothing was perfect. Soon after, Zhao Feng started to digest the memories of this body. The previous owner of this body, Zhao Feng, came from a mid-tier family in the Great Island Zone called the Yunling Zhao family. The Zhao clan and the Yin family were both from the Yunling mountain range, and they had a lot of enmity between them. Zhao Feng was a peerless genius of the Zhao family, and he had successfully entered the 10,000 Sacred Clan half a year ago. The 10,000 Sacred Clan was a 3-star force of the Lord Dynasty. Even though the 10,000 Sacred Clan had fallen to a 2-star power, it had a strong foundation and a long history. It surpassed some of the two-star sects from the true martial sacred land. This undoubtedly made the Yin family wary and uneasy. Coincidentally, this time, Zhao Feng was carrying out a mission with a disciple of the clan. Because he was a loner and didn't have a good relationship with his peers, the Yin family was able to find a chance. Interesting. This body has the talent of a high-tier earth spiritual body, and it also has a bloodline inheritance. However, his parents died, and he was an orphan. He only had a grandfather. Zhao Feng found out a lot of interesting information. This included the fact that this body also had a fiancé who was engaged to a family, and the fiancé was from a rather powerful family. It could be said that this body carried the greatest hope of the Yunling Zhao clan. Since I've inherited this body, I'll help you complete your wish from before you died. Of course, apart from the fiancé. A faint smile appeared on Zhao Feng's face. The youth in this body was extremely handsome, and he surpassed the Zhao Feng from his previous life. The only flaw was that he was too loner. So. Right at this moment, the sound of flying came from not far away. Junior Marshal Brother Zhao. Junior Marshal Brother Zhao's injuries are very serious. Junior Marshal's sister Wan, quickly heal him. There was a total of 5 or 6 disciples, all of whom had the lowest cultivation at the true spirit realm. The leader was a youth in black, and he revealed a weird expression. He was the captain of this mission, and his cultivation had reached the true lord rank. Zhao Feng was lying on the ground, and a gentle girl in blue was using a water technique to heal him. In his memories, the information of these disciples soon appeared in his mind. The youth in black was Senior Marshal Brother Guang. His name was Guang Tian, and he had good connections among the core disciples. The gentle girl in blue was called Wan Rong, and her cultivation had also reached the true mystic rank. In the crowd, Zhao Feng's cultivation was the lowest. This was because he was young and hadn't been in the clan for long. In his memories, the 10 strongest core disciples of the 10,000 Sacred Clan were all at least at the Origin Core Realm, and there were even 2 or 3 at the Great Origin Core Realm. The disciples of the 10,000 Sacred Clan were divided into outer disciples, core disciples, and core disciples. The disciples present were all at least core disciples. It's very weird that Junior Marshal Brother Zhao was able to survive such a fatal injury. Senior Marshal's sister, Wan, was slightly surprised as she healed Zhao Feng. The injuries to Zhao Feng's body had reached his heart and organs, and they were extremely serious. However, these fatal wounds were coagulated and did not continue to bleed. During the healing process, Senior Marshal's sister Wan even gave Zhao Feng a precious healing spiritual pill. Zhao Feng circulated his intent and spread the energy of the medicine across the heavily injured areas so that Senior Marshal's sister Wan could heal them. A while later, Zhao Feng's injuries had miraculously healed 70 to 80%. I'm done. Zhao Feng patted the dust off his body and casually stood up as he inspected his surroundings. The gentle Senior Marshal's sister Wan couldn't help but reveal a weird expression. The current Zhao Feng gave her an illusion that was different from the past. The youth in black, Senior Marshal Brother Guang, furrowed his eyebrows as coldness flashed through his eyes. Junior Marshal Brother Zhao, if you keep doing things your own way, you won't be so lucky to be able to keep your life. Senior Marshal Brother Guang didn't ask why Zhao Feng was injured. There was a true spirit realm beast next to him, so they just thought that Zhao Feng was severely injured in a fight. Only Senior Marshal's sister Wan, who was responsible for healing, saw some clues. Senior Marshal Brother Guang's tone was very heavy. Zhao Feng didn't say anything, but disdain and coldness appeared in his eyes. With his analysis, it wasn't hard for him to see that Senior Marshal Brother Guang had something to do with him being ambushed by the Yin family. During the mission, Senior Marshal Brother Guang and the original Zhao Feng had an argument, and the lonely Zhao Feng had acted alone in anger. However, according to what Zhao Feng knew, Senior Marshal Brother Guang was very popular and had many friends. However, this time, Senior Marshal Brother Guang and the lonely Zhao Feng had an argument. Coincidentally, Zhao Feng had been ambushed by the Yin family. If it wasn't for the fact that Senior Marshal's sister One didn't want him to be alone, she probably wouldn't have found his corpse. Senior Marshal Sister Wan, I owe you one. Zhao Feng didn't bother with Senior Marshal Brother Wang and faintly nodded his head towards Senior Marshal's sister Wan Rong. You don't know what's good for you. Senior Marshal Brother Wang waved his sleeves in anger. Meow meow. Right at this moment, a silver-gray cat jumped out from a corner of the forest. What a cute cat. Love appeared in Senior Marshal's sister Wan's eyes. The cat had an arrogant expression, and its black eyes seemed to be able to see through one's soul. Meow meow. The little thieving cat landed on Zhao Feng's shoulder and rubbed its head against Zhao Feng. Little thieving cat. Zhao Feng reached out and gently stroked its fur with a joyful expression. Life changes, things remain the same, but people change. However, a person's sole intent was the true core. The physical body was just a bag of skin. For people like Zhao Feng and the Emperor of Death, sole intent was the true source of immortality. Even though Zhao Feng had reincarnated, he was still Zhao Feng. The little thieving cat was still with him. This cat, Senior Marshal Brother Wang, Wan Rong, and company were all stunned. At this moment, Zhao Feng was calm and had an indescribable aura around him. I forgot to tell you, this is a cat that I just tamed in the Wuyo forest. Zhao Feng added. Senior Marshal Brother Wang and company didn't ask any further. This cat was so small and didn't seem to have any battle power. Only an eccentric person like Zhao Feng or some women would choose a cat that was cute but weak in combat. After saying this, the human and cat walked into the depths of the Wuyo forest. Zhao Feng, what are you doing? Senior Marshal Brother Wang roared. I'm going alone, Zhao Feng said without even turning his head around. Junior Marshal Brother Zhao, there are traces of sovereigns in the depths of the Wuyo forest. It's dangerous for you to go alone. Senior Marshal's sister Wan Rong couldn't help but say. Senior Marshal Brother Guang and company had disdainful expressions, as if they were looking at an idiot. This guy almost died when he went alone, but he still hasn't changed. A disciple in blue snickered coldly. Junior Marshal Brother Zhao, don't blame me, the leader, for being so stubborn. If you can't complete the mission and die in the Wuyo forest, it has nothing to do with me. Senior Marshal Brother Guang snickered coldly. Even if Zhao Feng could survive, he wouldn't be able to complete the clan's mission alone and would most likely be punished when he returned to the clan. However, the human and cat walked into the depths of the Wuyo forest as if they didn't hear anything. The gentle senior apprentice, Sister Wan, looked at the departing figure. She actually felt a mysterious, legendary charm from the back of that figure. Chapter 765. One human and one cat walked towards the depths of the Wuyo forest. Zhao Feng had his own plans. If he moved alone, it wouldn't be easy for him to expose himself, which suited the original owner's personality. This was the first reason. The second reason was that Zhao Feng wanted to see how much battle power he had left after taking over this body. Zhao Feng didn't bother attacking normal beasts under the true spirit realm. However, a small number of beasts still attacked Zhao Feng. Crack! Boom! A few trees nearby were directly broken by some kind of huge force. A Yao cow with a flaming tail charged at Zhao Feng, a beast that has just entered the true spirit realm. Zhao Feng didn't even look at it. He waved his hand and a faint red, true yuan shot out, turning into a sharp blade of fire that was 2 yards long. Shwa! Plop! The demonic ox's huge body was directly cut in half at the waist. Even its heart was cut into pieces. It breathed its last. After dealing with the bull, Zhao Feng walked towards the depths of the Wuyo forest. Apparently, there were even some intelligent beasts at the origin core realm in the depths of the Wuyo forest. Not long after Zhao Feng's figure left, a few masked figures quickly approached. The flaming barbarian bull was killed in one blow. The eyes of the leading elder twinkled. That brat just stabilized his injuries. How did he do this? Without the battle power of a true lord rank, it'd be hard to do this. The few masked men discussed in low voices. They were bewildered. They could originally exclude Zhao Feng, but the flaming barbarian bull's injuries were of the fire element. It should be someone else, and they're at least at the true lord rank. The old man in the lead had a confident look on his face. The other masked men also showed questioning looks. Firstly, the person who attacked didn't even bother to harvest the flaming barbarian bull's body. Think about it. The parts of the flaming barbarian bull's body, especially the blood and heart, would be extremely beneficial to his cultivation of fire. The elder smiled and said. As soon as he said this, the others all agreed. Indeed, if it were Zhao Feng, there was no way he would ignore the blazing barbaric bull's corpse. Chase. The masked men followed Zhao Feng's footprints and chased after him. After half a cup of tea's time, the figure of a man and a cat entered his field of vision. There's no one around. Go. A total of 4 or 5 masked men, led by the old man, flew towards Zhao Feng. As if sensing something, Zhao Feng turned around. Strangely, the young man looked at the masked men with a faint smile. That smile? The old man's heart skipped a beat, and he felt uneasy. Although the youth in front of him looked exactly the same as Zhao Feng, the feeling he gave off was that they were two completely different people. Ha ha! Junior, I didn't expect you to be able to escape death. Unfortunately, there will be no future good fortune. The masked men laughed sinisterly. Previously, this young man had been tortured to death by them, so he was full of confidence. You know I'm not dead? Zhao Feng had a strange look on his face. He smiled brightly and slowly waved his hand. Shua! A few flame blades that were as sharp as blades cut through the air, accompanied by the strange sound of thunder. Watch out! The expression of the leading elder changed dramatically. However, Zhao Feng's attack was too fast, and their strength was still at the youth who had been tortured to death. Arg! Several screams sounded as the 4 true human rank or true mystic rank masked men were all cut in half, and their bodies were burnt. You're not Zhao Feng, the leading elder exclaimed. This strength had already reached the true lord rank. Zhao Feng definitely didn't have such an intent. Tell me, how do you know I'm not dead? Zhao Feng walked toward the elder as if he was taking a stroll. The elder paused and became enraged. Junior, even if your strength has reached the true lord rank, you're only on par with me. After saying this, a simple broken saber appeared in the old man's hand, and he slashed out with lightning speed, creating a powerful state of might. One could only see a golden scale-like saber wave. Boom! Boom! Several nearby trees were instantly chopped into ashes. It's a fragment of an Earth-grade weapon used by a sovereign. Zhao Feng was slightly surprised. It was obvious that this fragment of an Earth-grade weapon was the Elder's biggest trump card. The old man had a feeling that the Zhao Feng before him was not as simple as he seemed. He could not get rid of the unease he felt. Zhao Feng snickered coldly and took a step forward. In an instant, an unparalleled, intense shot through the sky. Arg! The broken blade in the elder's hand fell to the ground, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. His face was deathly pale, and his mind was heavily injured. He was suppressed by an invisible force of will. Even if Zhao Feng only had 1/10 of his soul power and intent, it wasn't something a measly true lord rank could fight against. Intent? The elder couldn't believe it. The opponent's intent had reached a level that he couldn't see through. Shua! A hand heavily struck the elder's head. Soul-searching technique. A misty purple light appeared in Zhao Feng's left eye. The elder's heart shook. In front of the opponent's powerful intent and soul power, he couldn't fight back at all. As I thought, Zhao Feng took back his hand and got his answer. It was just as he had guessed. There was a problem with Senior Marshal Brother Guang. Zhao Feng's death was because Senior Marshal Brother Guang purposely fought with him and left him alone. The second time, this was the connection between Senior Marshal Brother Guang and the elder from the Yin family. This elder was a guest advisor of the Yin family. Guang Tian. Zhao Feng murmured Senior Marshal Brother Guang's name as a sharp light flashed through his eyes. Since he had used Zhao Feng's body to revive, then he would do his best to fulfill Zhao Feng's wish. However, Senior Marshal Brother Guang was a core disciple, and his master was a void god realm king. According to what Zhao Feng knew, The 10,000 Sacred Clan was once a 3-star power at its peak. Even though it had fallen, it still had more than a dozen kings and several emperors. Even if the 3 2-star sects of the Tianlu Island Zone teamed up, they wouldn't be on the same level as the 10,000 Sacred Clan. The 10,000 Sacred Clan was definitely one of the top peak 2-star sections. That's good too. I can obtain more resources and a better environment to recultivate in. Zhao Feng nodded his head. Shua, with a thought, an ancient metal ring appeared on Zhao Feng's finger. These resources are enough for me to recultivate to the half-step king level. However, it won't be enough for me to reach the void god realm. Furthermore, the golden Kuan sacred lightning body is a body-strengthening technique, and it uses up a lot of resources. The 5-elemental 10,000 lightning technique also needs resources of various elements. Zhao Feng started to think about his plan. Overall, his identity and environment were very suitable for him to recultivate. Gradually, Zhao Feng walked into the depths of the Wuyo forest. After that, the beasts he met became stronger and stronger. Beasts at the 3 heavens of the true spirit realm were very common here, and there were even true lord ranks. However, these beasts were easily taken care of by Zhao Feng and the little thieving cat before they could even get close. I still have the little thieving cat by my side. Even kings can protect themselves. But my goal is a higher level. Zhao Feng's heart calmed down. At this moment, he had a preliminary understanding of his battle prowess after his reincarnation. Firstly, although his soul intent wasn't even 1/10 of his peak, it was stronger than normal half-step kings. Secondly, the power of his god's spiritual eye still existed. The 700 to 800 wisps of god tribulation lightning in his purple soul sea were still Zhao Feng's killing moves. Protect the princess. How unlucky. I actually met the most mysterious Yinming bird in the Wuyo forest. The sound of flying came from ahead. Zhao Feng's footsteps stopped as he felt a weird aura. An enormous shadowy bird with translucent wings that were suffused with a layer of dark flames was chasing after 3 men and a woman. Whoosh! The giant shadow bird's body seemed to be illusory as it passed through some branches and leaves, its speed as fast as lightning. There were 3 men and 1 woman being chased. The 3 men were all at the primal core realm, and one of them was even a supremacy. The other young girl wore a luxurious and exquisite purple dress. She was around 14 or 15 years old, but her appearance was dignified and beautiful. Her beautiful face was like snow porcelain, and she faintly emitted a noble aura. What surprised Zhao Feng was that this girl had reached the peak true mystic rank and was only half a step away from the true lord rank. It could be predicted that not only was this young lady extremely talented, but she was also of noble birth. What surprised Zhao Feng the most was the Yinming bird chasing them was only at the peak small origin core realm, but it was able to push back the group of 1 sovereign lord and 2 sovereigns. Puff, the Yinming bird's translucent, shadowy wings flapped rapidly, sending gusts of gloomy wind towards the 3 of them. A soul attack and a death attribute one at that. Zhao Feng saw the clues at first glance. In other words, the Yinming bird and the Death Emperor belonged to the same system. Meow meow. The little thieving cat waved its paws as it stared at the Yinming bird. Zhao Feng felt that the Yinming bird's bloodline wasn't normal. Hoo-pa! The Yinming bird suddenly became enraged and charged toward Zhao Feng and the little thieving cat. Thieving cat, what did you say to this bird? Zhao Feng's expression changed. The Yinming bird had the battle power of a sovereign lord, and it had a unique law of death. Although that was the case, Zhao Feng didn't hesitate, and his black hair suddenly turned faint purple. Immediately after, with his back facing the 3 escaping males and 1 female, he raised his hand and locked onto the Yinming bird with his purple left eye. A weird scene appeared. The Yinming bird suddenly froze when it got close to Zhao Feng and started to struggle. The 3 escaping males and 1 female realized that the Yinming bird had suddenly left them behind and flew toward a youth. The youth's back was facing them, and he had a head of dreamy purple hair. One could faintly see the side of his handsome face. How is this possible? The leader of the sovereign lords revealed a look of surprise. Then, when the giant Yiming bird got close to Zhao Feng, its wings quickly shrank and turned into a palm-sized Yiming bird. The little Yiming bird and the little thieving cat stood on either side of Zhao Feng's shoulders and got along well with each other. The Yiming bird, which had been ferocious just a moment ago, was now obediently rubbing against Zhao Feng's neck. The Tianfeng Great Island Zone has such a powerful beast tamer. The Yiming bird is a rare species that belongs to the soul type of death. It's almost impossible to tame. The young woman in a violet dress with a dignified appearance had a face filled with surprise. What was even more unbelievable was that the beast tamer was so young. She wanted to see the side of the purple-haired youth's face, but she didn't succeed. The others were just about to go up and talk. Hoo-pa! The Yiming bird suddenly grew to a size of 200 feet. It flapped its wings and took Zhao Feng and the little thieving cat through the forest and into the clouds. Chapter 766. The 3 males and 1 female watched as Zhao Feng flew away on the Yiming bird, surprise still lingering on their faces. The Yiming bird's speed was something that the 3 of them couldn't catch up to. Unfortunately, I didn't get to meet such a brilliant and young beast tamer. The beautiful girl watched the Yiming bird leave with a trace of regret on her face. There weren't many people in the Tianfeng Great Island Zone who could tame the Yiming bird so easily. Furthermore, the beast tamer was such a handsome youth. Princess, don't worry. The leading Great Origin Core Realm Sovereign Lord smiled faintly. With that youth's talent, we'll have a chance to meet him in the future as long as he's still in the Tianfeng Great Island Zone. Hearing that, everyone nodded their heads in agreement. Gold would shine sooner or later. That youth's talent would definitely spread across the Great Island Zone. At the same time, there was a mysterious guard hidden within a few dozen miles of the 3 males and 1 female. The auras of the 2 guards had reached the half-step Void God realm. Weird. That youth's only at the true spirit realm, but he radiates a profound soul undulation and easily tamed the Yiming bird. One of the guards clicked his tongue in wonder. Our mission is to protect the princess in secret. That youth's weird isn't something we need to worry about. The other guard said expressionlessly. In the clouds, Zhao Feng and the little thieving cat sat on the Yiming bird and flew several thousand miles in the air above the Wuyo forest. This Yiming bird's speed isn't bad. If it weren't for the fact that I have the power of God Tribulation lightning in my soul, I wouldn't have been able to tame it so easily. Zhao Feng couldn't help but sigh. One had to know that the wind lightning inheritance that he cultivated in his previous life had the title of being the fastest emperor. One could see how fast the Yiming bird was if Zhao Feng said it was not bad. Of course, although the bird was fast, it had a weakness, and that was that it had to bear gravity. This was because only a part of the Yiming bird's body was materialized. The other part was a soul flame, so it was extremely light. It was because of this that the Yiming bird could shrink, enlarge, and even hide. For the current Zhao Feng, this bird was a good mount and also a fighter. The Yiming bird was a rare necromancy and soul-type beast. Adding on its extraordinary speed, it was no wonder Zhao Feng had risked his life to subdue it. When he'd subdued the Yinither bird, Zhao Feng had sensed the presence of 2 half-step kings in the vicinity. Therefore, he tried to restrain his aura as much as possible when he attacked. Before returning to the 10,000 Sacred Clan, I'll first complete the clan mission. Zhao Feng thought of something. This time, Zhao Feng and the other core disciples formed a team to complete a mission outside. In the mission, he needed to obtain the materials and parts of several kinds of demonic beasts within a specified time. However, these Yao beasts were all strong, and 1 or 2 normal true human ranks would find it hard to complete the mission. Half a day later, Zhao Feng easily completed the task and returned to the sect on the Yiming bird. In his field of vision, a group of lofty mountains surrounded by clouds and mist was surrounded by a layer of faint golden light, which reflected the blazing sun of the Golden Crow. In the sky above the clouds, there would be streaks of light tearing through the air. All sorts of spiritual pets and mounts were a common sight. In some areas, peak sovereign origin core realms would occasionally appear in the air above the 10,000 sacred clan. Zhao Feng's Yiming bird attracted the attention of some experts from the clan. The Yiming bird was a rare bird that was hard to come by even for great origin core realm sovereign lords and half-step kings. Furthermore, the Yiming bird's growth was much harder than normal beasts. Some origin core realm experts in the air looked at Zhao Feng's Yiming bird with fiery gazes. However, Zhao Feng didn't move. He didn't believe that anyone would dare to steal his mount. Zhao Feng didn't plan on keeping a low profile since he was recultivating with a new identity. If one was more high profile, they would be able to enjoy more resources and privileges in the 10,000 sacred clan. Within a tall hall in the 10,000 sacred clan, some disciples were lining up to complete their missions. Junior Marshal Brother Zhao. Several surprised voices sounded from the side of the hall. The source of the voices came from Senior Marshal Brother Guang, Senior Marshal Sister Wan, and company. Hearing that, Zhao Feng slowly walked over. After all, this sect mission was accepted by the team together, so everyone had share. Surprise flashed through Senior Marshal Brother Guang's eyes when he saw Zhao Feng return safely. Junior Marshal Brother Zhao. Senior Marshal Brother Guang quickly hid his emotions and said, "Because you left the group, you didn't get a share. Under normal circumstances, as long as Zhao Feng followed the group and completed the mission, he would get a share. However, under normal circumstances, as long as Zhao Feng followed the group and completed the mission, he would get a share. However, since he left the group, the leader had the right to exclude his share. In reality, he didn't contribute much during the mission, so it wasn't unfair. I will report this to Deacon." Senior Marshal Brother Guang smiled faintly. At this moment, it was time for Senior Marshal Brother Guang's group to hand in their mission, and Zhao Feng followed them in. Within a hall, Senior Marshal Brother Guang's group started a hand in their mission. The person in charge of checking the mission was an elder at the late stage, small origin core realm. "Deacon Fan, these are the materials of our group, but one of our members left the group," Senior Marshal Brother Guang said seriously. "I've seen too many self-centered disciples without any sense of teamwork. This situation needs to be dealt with severely." Deacon Fan had a strict expression. Senior Marshal Brother Guang came from the lineage of a king, so Deacon Fan would obviously give him face. "You're Zhao Feng? What's your share for this mission?" Deacon Fan's gaze landed on Zhao Feng. Deacon Fan had an impression of Zhao Feng. He had performed quite well in the clan exam. However, just the talent of an earth spiritual body wasn't shocking in the Lord dynasty. After all, a person's success depended on their comprehension, determination, and hard work apart from their talent. Unless their talent was like Nan Gongxing's heaven spiritual body. All in all, if Zhao Feng performed well in the next 2 years, he had a chance of becoming a king. Whoosh! Zhao Feng expressionlessly waved his hand, and a pile of beast parts appeared on the ground in front of him. What? The gazes of everyone present froze as they stared at the materials on the ground. These beast parts were all materials needed for the mission. "You've completed the mission by double the quota. You did all of this by yourself." Deacon Fan was slightly dazed. In other words, Zhao Feng had completed double the quota by himself. On top of that, the materials that Zhao Feng had obtained were extremely complete and of high quality, far exceeding the requirements of the mission. Deacon Fan checked the materials and found that they were perfect. How is it possible for him to do it by himself? Senior Marshal Brother Guang and company were filled with shock and doubt. The eyes of the gentle Senior Marshal Sister Wan spun as she found it hard to hide her surprise. Before leaving, the mysterious aura from Zhao Feng's back appeared in her mind. "Deacon Fan, did I complete my quota?" Zhao Feng said with a smile that didn't look like a smile. "You completed double the quota by yourself and completed it with high quality, so of course you've met the requirements." Deacon Fan calmed down. The clan didn't have strict requirements on the method of completion. Even if you spent primal crystal stones to buy the materials needed for the mission, it was still possible. This Zhao Feng must have spent money to hire people to get the materials. After all, He has a powerful family behind him. Senior Marshal Brother Wong and the others exchanged glances. After completing the mission, everyone received their rewards. The rewards were mainly clan contribution points, which could be used to buy some cultivation techniques or enjoy some privileges. The essence of the clan's missions was that the upper echelons of the clan would let the disciples do the errands. For example, a certain upper echelon of the clan needed some low-grade materials for alchemy, but he didn't have any free time, so he gave out a mission for the disciples to complete. Or maybe, if there were any unstable factors in the clan's territory, the disciples would also be given a mission to solve them. In the world of the clan, most of the disciples at the bottom were just running errands. 2,000 points, 8,000 primal crystal stones. Zhao Feng checked his reward. His reward was more than Senior Marshal Brother Wang's and the others combined. After all, there was no limit to the number of materials needed for this mission. He walked out of the mission hall. Zhao Feng, this mission requires materials. You can buy them. Let's see how you're going to fake the next mission. Senior Marshal Brother Guang snickered in his heart. But on the surface, he and Zhao Feng still maintained a harmonious smile. Senior Marshal Brother Guang, how did you meet the people from the Yin family? Zhao Feng asked coldly. People from the Yin family? What do you mean? You're ridiculous. There was a hint of panic in Senior Marshal Brother Guang's eyes, but he forced himself to calm down. For some reason, he felt a little guilty under Zhao Feng's sharp gaze. Zhao Feng ignored him and waved his hand, and a huge illusory flame dark bird appeared in front of him. Whoosh! The Yiming bird carried Zhao Feng and flew into the sky, leaving behind a group of shocked disciples. Oh my god, it's an extremely precious Yiming bird. Isn't this bird supposed to be extremely hard to tame? An uproar broke out among the disciples. Senior Marshal Brother Guang and company had their mouths open. Could it be that the Zhao family is also helping him? Seeing the Yiming bird spread its wings and fly away with Zhao Feng, everyone was speechless for a long time. Zhao Feng soon arrived at his residence on the Yiming bird. Being a core disciple, he had his own courtyard, and it wasn't very eye-catching in the 10,000 Sacred Clan. Immediately, Zhao Feng opened the defensive array in his courtyard and put up a sign that he was in seclusion. The 3-star 10,000 Sacred Clan was indeed strong, and its basic facilities were extremely complete. Zhao Feng sat down in his room. The Golden Kuan Sacred Lightning Body and the 5 Elemental Wind Lightning Technique, 2 top-tier cultivation techniques in the universe, appeared in his mind. These 2 sets of cultivation techniques are a complete set of cultivation techniques. In order to cultivate the Sacred Lightning Body, I need to use the 5 Elemental 10,000 Lightning to refine my body. Zhao Feng's heart was as clear as a mirror. He needed to cultivate the 5 Elemental Wind Lightning technique first. This technique was created by merging the Wind Lightning Inheritance and the 5 Elemental 10,000 Lightning technique. The 5 Elemental Wind Lightning technique is split into 12 levels, and it can be cultivated to the heavenly divine realm. The first 3 levels are the foundation of Wind Lightning and form the skeleton of Wind Lightning. From the 4th level onwards, one can cultivate the 5 Elemental Wind Lightning of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. The 10th level will allow the 5 Elemental Wind Lightning to grow endlessly. Zhao Feng's mind was immersed in it. Chapter 767. Zhao Feng glanced over and found that the first 3 levels weren't difficult for him. After all, he had cultivated the Wind Lightning Inheritance to the peak in his previous life. The 5 Elemental Wind Lightning technique used the power of wind and lightning as the foundation. Therefore, the first 3 levels were extremely important. Spending 4 hours, Zhao Feng comprehended the first 3 levels of the 5 Elemental Wind Lightning technique. He could see that the first 3 levels were the condensed version of the Purple Destruction Wind Lightning from his previous life. Not only was it condensed, but it was also strengthened and perfected. The improved 5 Elemental Wind Lightning technique is indeed profound. It's also the foundation, but it's much better than the early stages of the Wind Lightning Inheritance. Zhao Feng couldn't help but sigh. Of course, the difference in power wasn't too big since it was the early stages. The main advantage of a high-level cultivation technique was that it had greater potential. It had other advantages, such as using the same amount of power, using less energy, or having an advantage in recovery and yuanqi purity. However, for Zhao Feng, who had emperor intent, what moved him the most was the potential of the inheritance. I can cultivate the first 3 levels now. Zhao Feng thought for a moment, but he didn't immediately start cultivating. He still had a few things to do before cultivating. Firstly, he took out a mouthful of the Immortal Springs wine and drank it. The Immortal Springs wine could increase one's lifespan by 1,000 years and increase one's state of existence. Most importantly, the Immortal Springs wine's effect was very gentle and merged with one's blood. Even if a mortal drank the Immortal Spring, they could slowly digest and absorb it over a long period of time. Zhao Feng obviously wouldn't let the Immortal Springs wine digest it so slowly. He immediately circulated his intent and true force, spreading the Immortal Springs wine's effect to every corner of his body. The talent of this body wasn't bad, so it could absorb the Immortal Springs wine more efficiently. 3 days later, Zhao Feng's state of existence and body had increased by leaps and bounds, creating a strong foundation. In this period of time, his body had expelled many impurities. In terms of state of existence alone, Zhao Feng's foundation surpassed the true Lord rank and was close to the origin core realm. As the first realm of the true spirit realm, the true human realm, this was already an advanced foundation and foundation. Moreover, the effect of the Immortal Spring was only partially digested. That's right. This time, I want to strengthen my foundation even more. Zhao Feng secretly nodded. Next, only then did he officially start cultivating the 5 elemental wind lightning technique. The first 3 levels, wind and thunder foundation, were not difficult for Zhao Feng. His soul easily resonated with heaven and earth as he guided the power of wind and lightning into his body, tempering his body and merging it with his meridians. Due to his high cultivation, Zhao Feng's refinement of wind and lightning energy was extremely pure. It was predictable. Zhao Feng's cultivation of the first 3 layers of the foundation of wind and lightning was definitely ahead of others. On the material, inside Zhao Feng's ancient metal ring, there were still some rare thunder crystals left behind from his previous life, as well as a small amount of spirit materials suitable for the current stage. Only an hour had passed. A wisp of wind and lightning true force had formed in Zhao Feng's body, and its quality far surpassed the fire true force in his dantian. The original owner of this body cultivated the Tao of fire. However, due to its low level and weak foundation, it didn't affect Zhao Feng much. As time passed, wisps of wind and lightning true force merged into his dantian and cleansed the fire true force. If it was at the king realm, the true yuan dimension in his dantian would have been formed, and the scarlet gold wind lightning true yuan couldn't be cleansed like this. At that time, if he wanted to recultivate, he would have to destroy the scarlet gold wind lightning true yuan. It was like a building. The lower the level, the easier it would be to add more floors. The original owner's body was still at the foundational level and hadn't even formed a root of law, so recultivating wasn't difficult. In just 3 days, Zhao Feng's 5 elemental wind lightning technique had reached the first level. Another half a month passed. Zhao Feng had successfully stepped into the second level. At this point in time, 99% of the fire true force within his body had been rejected. Within his source of true spirit was a clear liquid wind lightning true force that flowed endlessly throughout his body. My current cultivation is equivalent to the peak true human rank, but I don't need the root of law. Zhao Feng murmured. King intent and emperor intent were countless levels higher than the root of law. However, as his cultivation increased, Zhao Feng would polish his intent. When he recovered his cultivation base to the empty god realm, the great emperor's would be like a furnace that had been reforged. There would be changes in its attributes, and it would undoubtedly be purer and more condensed. All in all, This recultivation would make Zhao Feng's foundation stronger and his path wider. In the blink of an eye, 2 months passed as Zhao Feng entered seclusion. At this point in time, his 5 elemental wind lightning technique had reached the peak 2nd level, and his cultivation had reached the true mystic rank. The true spirit realm was split into 3 realms: true human rank, true mystic rank, and true lord rank. Normal geniuses needed at least 10 years to reach the true mystic rank. The true mystic rank needed to comprehend the root of law, which would make those at the true human rank be stuck for life. However, Zhao Feng only had 2 months to reach the true mystic rank. In terms of speed, it's slightly slower than the demigod Kuan Yun's blood rebirth. Zhao Feng had to admit one thing: blood rebirth could quickly create a physical body similar to when one was alive. This was especially so for the demigod Kuan Yun, who had used his blood essence to revive and continue his bloodline and Yuan Qi from his previous life. Even a drop of blood from a demigod would be 100 times stronger than him. However, the demigod Kuan Yun's blood rebirth was still the same as before. My golden Kuan sacred lightning body and 5 elemental wind lightning technique are better than the demigod Kuan Yun's technique. Zhao Feng understood the pros and cons. It was just like how he had taken over another body and gotten rid of the cursed words of death, but he had lost the mystic ice-scaled race bloodline. After 2 months of seclusion, Zhao Feng finally exited his seclusion and stopped cultivating. If he was willing, if Zhao Feng went into seclusion for another half a year, he would at least reach the origin core realm. However, that would be too shocking. There was a bottom line, even if he wanted to be high profile. There was another important reason. Zhao Feng still needed to cultivate the golden Kuan sacred lightning body, and the difference between the 2 techniques couldn't be too big. However, the golden Kuan sacred lightning body was a body-strengthening technique, and it needed some body-strengthening materials. Zhao Feng didn't have any of those. In reality, Zhao Feng could cultivate the 5 elemental wind lightning technique alone. That way, he would be able to advance faster, but he couldn't resist the temptation of the golden Kuan sacred lightning body. After the sacred lightning body reached the late stages, it wouldn't be indestructible, and he would be able to revive from a single drop of blood, like the demigod Kuan Yin. The biggest advantage was that the sacred lightning body had a huge advantage when dealing with the God Tribulation in the future. After all, the God Tribulation was the biggest threat when trying to break through to the heavenly divine realm. Once he cultivated the golden Kuan sacred lightning body, Zhao Feng's confidence in dealing with the God Tribulation lightning would increase by 50%. At that time, he might even be able to use the God Tribulation to refine his body and increase his strength. Although this was all in the future, Zhao Feng couldn't help but think about the future. As soon as Zhao Feng came out of seclusion, several guests appeared outside. There were 2 origin core realms among them. Zhao Feng, I heard that you have a tamed Yinming bird. Can we trade it? One of the late-stage, small origin core realms said eagerly. Sorry, I don't trade the Yinming bird. Zhao Feng shook his head and rejected. However, there were still some people who weren't willing to give up. Zhao Feng, my master is the Deputy Hall Master of the Mystic Spell Hall and has the potential to break through to the Void God realm. If you're willing to trade the Yinming bird, it'll be beneficial to you in the future. One of the slightly chubby youths spoke confidently with an air of seniority. Zhao Feng knew this youth. He was also a core disciple, and his name was Wang Yuan. In reality, with Zhao Feng's talent, several great origin core realm sovereign lords and a half-step void god realm wanted to take him as a disciple. However, Zhao Feng wanted to stand out in the clan in 2 years and become a disciple of a king. This was also what the Zhao clan wanted. The Zhao clan also had great origin core realm sovereign lords. Only by becoming a disciple of a king would they be able to change the fate of Zhao Feng and his family. Shoo! 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 Even if you're a king, I won't trade. Zhao Feng finally became impatient and waved his hand. This scene made the expressions of the chubby youth, Wang Yuan, and everyone else become ugly. A measly true spirit realm dares to act so arrogantly? One of the small Origin Core realm elders was enraged. Zhao Feng snickered coldly without saying anything. He waved his hand, and the void flaming Yinming bird appeared before him. The Yinming bird's aura forced the nearby people back. They watched as Zhao Feng left on the Yinming bird in a flashy manner, and they gnashed their teeth and cursed. Not long after Zhao Feng had left, Senior Marshal Brother Guang's figure appeared nearby, and he walked with the chubby youth, Wang Yuan. This brat's more arrogant than I thought. Wang Yuan was slightly surprised. Zhe, this brat's EQ is too low. He offended so many people at once. With his personality, even if he has a mid-tier family behind him, he probably won't be able to survive for long in the 10,000 Sacred Clan. Senior Marshal Brother Guang acted as if he was watching a show. He was the one who spread the news that Zhao Feng had the Yiming bird. The Yin family had promised him that as long as Zhao Feng died, he would obtain great benefits no matter what method he used. Furthermore, Senior Marshal Brother Guang was jealous that Zhao Feng's cultivation had increased dramatically, and he even had the Yiming bird. Whoosh! The void flaming Yiming bird that was 20 yards wide landed in a trading castle within the 10,000 Sacred Clan. The territory of the 10,000 Sacred Clan was extremely big. Just the territory of the sect was equivalent to the size of the Cloud country, which was equivalent to a small country. Therefore, Zhao Feng didn't even need to leave the clan. He could take care of most of his needs in the clan. This was also why Zhao Feng chose to stay in the 10,000 Sacred Clan. He would only head to the Lord Dynasty after he fulfilled this youth's wish and broke through to the half-step void ocean spiritual palace. The castle in front of him was dozens of miles wide, and it was similar to a small void ocean spiritual palace. It was used to trade within the clan. Zhao Feng put away the Yinming bird, and the little thieving cat sat on his shoulder as its eyes spun. Half a day later, Zhao Feng traded for some body-strengthening materials. At the same time, he sold some materials that weren't useful to him in his previous life. Of course, Zhao Feng didn't sell anything that would attract the attention of those at the half-step Void God realm or higher. Zhao Feng, stop right there. A group of people stopped Zhao Feng when he walked out of the trading castle. This group was all core disciples, and the chubby youth from before, Wang Yuan, was among them. There were even 2 core disciples, which surprised Zhao Feng. Chapter 768. In the 10,000 Sacred Clan, most core disciples were disciples of kings, and their status surpassed normal core disciples. Zhao Feng obviously recognized these 2 core disciples. One of them was Senior Marshal Brother Guang, the leader of the previous mission. The other male was skinny, and his shoulders seemed to be carved out. His eyes were bright, and he gave off a sharp aura. This person's cultivation had reached the half-step Origin Core realm. Senior Marshal Brother Huang Yunhu. It's this brat who's arrogant and disrespectful to kings. The slightly chubby youth, Wang Yuan, said. Before, Zhao Feng had said that even if a king came personally, he wouldn't trade the Yiming bird. These words were obviously embellished by Wang Yuan, saying that Zhao Feng didn't even put kings in his eyes, and so on. Huang Yunhu, core disciple of King Lu Yun. This brat loves face, and he can't accept flattery. There were memories in Zhao Feng's mind. Although this Zhao Feng had only been in the 10,000 Sacred Clan for half a year, he obviously knew about the core disciples of the famous figures. Yeah, Zhao Feng, aren't you afraid that the wind will cut your tongue? How can you speculate on the opinions of kings? Huang Yunhu had an unfriendly and cold expression. It was very common for disciples to fight amongst themselves in the 10,000 Sacred Clan. The clan would close one eye as long as they didn't kill each other. After all, these fights could increase the competition between the disciples. Junior Marshal Brother Zhao, hurry up and apologize to Senior Marshal Brother Huang and Junior Marshal Brother Wang Yuan. You know Senior Marshal Brother Huang's temper. Senior Marshal Brother Guang pretended to appear in between Zhao Feng and Huang Yunhu. He had a concerned expression as he tried to persuade Zhao Feng not to act rashly. How about this, Junior Zhao Feng? All you need to do is kowtow and admit your crimes. I won't pursue your disrespectful words towards kings anymore. Huang Yunhu crossed his arms and said forcefully. His words were filled with righteousness, as if he was the disciple of a realm king. Zhao Feng knew that these were all pretexts to bully the disciples. All kinds of far-fetched reasons. If it were an ordinary disciple, they might argue, but in the end, it would be useless. Naturally, Zhao Feng wouldn't be polite to these people who bullied the weak in the sect circles. Humph! Two bottom-feeder existences among true disciples. Aren't you afraid of embarrassing your master? Zhao Feng had a look of contempt on his face. As soon as these words came out, the crowd instantly fell into a dead silence. The other core disciples broke out in cold sweat for Zhao Feng. Huang Yunhu and Lin Yun were indeed below average amongst the direct disciples. But even so, the two of them were among the upper echelons of the core disciples. You brat! How dare you disrespect a true disciple? Even senior marshal brother Guang felt embarrassed. Huang Yunhu was infuriated. He was a true inheritor, but he was being looked down upon by a disciple who had joined the sect for half a year. Immediately, he circulated his half-step true yuan, and a thick layer of scarlet earth crystal light appeared on his body. This area seemed to be inexplicably heavy. Kneel! Huang Yunhu's half-step origin core realm aura was enough to easily deal with a true mystic rank. He was confident that he would be able to suppress this brat with just one move. However, the handsome youth in his sight smiled in disdain and gently waved his hand. Behind him, a giant dark bird spread its translucent wings and shot toward Huang Yunhu. The Yinming bird's powerful aura made the faces of Huang Yunhu and company go white, and their hearts trembled. Zhao Feng, how dare you rely on your spiritual pet in a sparring match between disciples? Senior brother Guang couldn't help but roar. Bam! Bam! Huang Yunhu was hit by a gust of wind and screamed as his body flew dozens of yards back like a piece of paper before landing on the ground. The remaining shockwaves caused some other core disciples to be lightly injured. One had to know, the Yinming bird was a rare, soul-type beast of death, and the wind contained a soul attack that could kill life. Huang Yunhu lay on the ground with cold sweat dripping down his forehead. Is this the strength of a core disciple? Zhao Feng had a disdainful expression. Zhao Feng, you're just relying on your spiritual pet. If you have the ability, then fight me fair and square. Huang Yunhu climbed up with unwillingness and hatred on his face. Senior brother Guang said fiercely, Zhao Feng, your spiritual pet injured a core disciple. Aren't you afraid of being punished by a king? Hearing this, Zhao Feng's expression changed slightly. At that time, senior brother Guang and company would probably think of a way to punish Zhao Feng's spiritual pet. If it was a disciple injuring a disciple, it would just be a fight between juniors. However, if it was a spiritual pet injuring a disciple, the meaning was different. Is that so? Zhao Feng licked his lips as he walked in front of Huang Yunhu and stepped on his right leg. Arg! Huang Yunhu screamed miserably. There was a cracking sound as his right leg was broken. It was hard to imagine that a true mystic-ranked disciple like Zhao Feng had such a strong body. The nearby core disciples shuddered in fear. Huang Yunhu challenged me, and I broke one of his legs. Who else doesn't want to accept this? Zhao Feng's eyes scanned across the crowd. These disciples avoided Zhao Feng's gaze, their faces filled with fear as they trembled in fear. Ha ha ha! Zhao Feng raised his head and laughed as he rode the Yinming bird through the air. The core disciples had ugly expressions and were extremely unwilling. Shameless. This Zhao Feng is relying on his spiritual pet to act so arrogantly. Everyone cursed but couldn't do anything. If it wasn't for that Yinming bird, I would have been able to beat Zhao Feng. A peak true mystic rank core disciple said unwillingly. On the same day, the news of Zhao Feng injuring a core disciple with his spiritual pet spread across the disciples. On the same night, Huang Yunhu, who was injured, went to the King Elder's palace and complained to his master. That Zhao Feng injuring a disciple is a small matter, but he was disrespectful to a king and humiliated master. This is unforgivable. Huang Yunhu was covered in tears and snot. He was a core disciple of a king, but he was humiliated by a youth that had just entered the clan. The hatred and humiliation in his heart couldn't be resolved. "Oomph, haven't you lost enough face?" King Lu Yun, who was wearing snow-white robes, snickered coldly and said. King Lu Yun was one of the 17 kings of the 10,000 sacred clan. Facing his disciples begging, King Lu Yun's eyebrows furrowed. He knew that this matter had left a shadow in his disciples' heart. However, he was a king and couldn't lower his status to attack a disciple. "How about this? I'll lend you a two-headed lightning bird. This bird has the cultivation of a sovereign lord and can help you suppress the Yiming bird." King Lu Yun waved his hand, and a unique token appeared in his hand. He circulated his king intent and left an imprint on the token. "Thank you, master." Huang Yunhu was overjoyed. Although his master's two-headed lightning bird wasn't his main steed, it could suppress normal sovereign lords. "You need to defeat that brat with your own strength. However, you can't kill him," King Lu Yun said. He was already trying to protect Huang Yunhu by lending him his steed. If Huang Yunhu accidentally killed Zhao Feng, it would be a problem. The regulations elder of the 10,000 sacred clan was an emperor-rank void god realm, and he was impartial and emotionless. "Disciple understands. I'll cripple him, but I'll spare his life." Huang Yunhu was overjoyed. He ate the spiritual pill that his master had given him, and his broken leg quickly healed with the help of his magnificent power. The next day, Huang Yunhu's injuries had mostly healed, and he immediately went to find Zhao Feng. However, a defensive array was activated in Zhao Feng's courtyard, and a sign that he was in seclusion was put up. "Cunning brat, he's hiding." Huang Yunhu exploded in anger. That Zhao Feng is indeed shameless. He went into seclusion early. Some of the disciples that were watching felt bored. The 10,000 sacred clan had a rule that unless there was a special situation, a core disciple in seclusion wasn't to be disturbed. Senior Marshal Brother Huang, don't worry. Senior Marshal Brother Guang came out from the crowd and smiled. Junior Marshal Brother Guang, what do you think? Huang Yunhu glanced over. Guang Tian was also a king's disciple, but he was only an in-name disciple, and he barely had the status of a core disciple. According to the rules, a core disciple has to complete a mission every month, and it can't be more than 3 months late. That Zhao Feng hasn't completed a mission for 2 months already. Guang Tian had a smile. Hearing this, the disciples came to a realization. So that's how it is. If it's more than 3 months, he'll be warned by the clan, and if it's more than half a year, he'll be punished. These disciples were very familiar with the rules of the clan. Brat Zhao Feng, I'll make you hide for a month." Huang Yunhu laughed loudly. In another month, the clan would send someone to warn Zhao Feng. This meant that Zhao Feng would only be able to enter seclusion for a month at most before he was interrupted. Everyone disperse. The divine illusion dimension will open in half a year's time. If we can enter the divine illusion dimension and obtain treasures from the ancient era, it'll be a great boost to our cultivation. The group of core disciples dispersed. They agreed to come back and punish Zhao Feng in a month's time, within a room in the courtyard. At this moment, Zhao Feng was soaking in a layer of medicinal liquid, and wisps of wind lightning started to appear on his body as it refined his body. The golden Kuan sacred lightning body is split into 8 levels. At the 7th level, one can form the demigod lightning body, which increases one's resistance to the 5 elements and God Tribulation lightning. Before the 7th level, each level corresponds to a major realm. Zhao Feng was cultivating the 1st level of the sacred lightning body. The original version of the Golden Kuan sacred body had extremely strict cultivation requirements. However, the improved Golden Kuan sacred lightning body could use the power of 10,000 lightning to refine one's body. If one cultivated the 5-elemental 10,000 lightning technique or the 5-elemental wind lightning technique, the requirements would be lowered and they could be used together. Zhao Feng had already cultivated the 5-elemental wind lightning technique to the 3rd level. Now, he could use the power of wind lightning to refine his body, and body strengthening materials could greatly increase the efficiency. Comparatively speaking, the advancement of body tempering cultivation techniques was much slower than ordinary cultivation techniques. However, Zhao Feng had consumed the Immortal Springs wine earlier, and his body and state of existence had changed. Now, with the help of the wind lightning technique at the 3rd level and some high-quality body-strengthening materials, the effect was extremely good. 3 days later, Zhao Feng's golden Kuan sacred lightning body had reached the peak of the 1st level. Half a month later, his sacred lightning body had reached the late stages of the 2nd level. Chapter 769. The first 3 levels of the golden Kuan sacred lightning body corresponded to the realms before the origin core realm. Zhao Feng had only cultivated to the peak 2nd level, but his body alone was comparable to the true mystic rank. If he broke through to the 3rd level, he would be able to kill true lord ranks with his body alone. The first 3 levels were just the foundation of the sacred lightning body. My state of existence and body aren't strong enough yet, or else I could return to the ancient dream realm and obtain some resources. A plan appeared in Zhao Feng's mind. However, the amount of resources needed for body strengthening exceeded Zhao Feng's expectations. The amount of resources needed to cultivate both the golden Kuan sacred lightning body and the 5 elemental wind lightning technique at the same time wasn't small. Zhao Feng calculated. If he didn't enter the ancient dream realm soon, he might face a shortage of resources when he reached the great origin core realm. Apart from that, he also needed some rare Tao of the soul treasures to recover. Only when his soul reached the void god realm would Zhao Feng's emperor intent be able to fully awaken and return to its peak. Right now, Zhao Feng didn't have many Tao of the soul resources. Zhao Feng's eyebrows furrowed as he started to plan. Only now did he understand why the child demigod needed resources so much. Of course, if he cultivated honestly and didn't use any resources, he would be able to return to his peak within a dozen or so years. However, Zhao Feng didn't want to wait that long. I need to return to the void god realm within 3 years. Zhao Feng's eyes twinkled. A while later, in Zhao Feng's heart, he had a few ways to make money. First, taming spiritual beasts. If he could tame a few more beasts like the eaming bird, he would be able to make a lot of money. Second, adventuring. He could go to some dangerous ruins or secret realms and dig up some ancient treasures. Third, clan missions. Completing some difficult sect missions would reward them handsomely. The contribution points obtained from the missions could also be exchanged for some precious resources. Relatively speaking, the first and third were safer, and the rewards were more stable. The second option, exploration and adventure, was a little dangerous. Just as Zhao Feng was thinking, Zhao Feng, a thunderous voice came from outside the courtyard. That voice even penetrated the defensive formation. Zhao Feng walked out of the house and saw a purple-robed law enforcer floating outside the courtyard. His cultivation had reached the great origin core realm. Law enforcer, what can I do for you? Zhao Feng's expression changed slightly. Under normal circumstances, as long as one didn't violate the sect's rules, the law enforcers wouldn't come question them. From the corner of his eye, he could see the gloating expressions of some of the core disciples near the courtyard. In the crowd, Huang Yunhu, Wang Yuan, and senior brother Guang Tian were all present. Zhao Feng, you haven't completed any sect missions in 3 months. I, the enforcer, have come to give you a warning. I will also suspend your supply of core disciple resources for the next 3 months. The purple-robed law enforcer looked down at Zhao Feng indifferently. Deducting 3 months' worth of resources in one go was not a small matter for ordinary sect disciples. In a competitive sect, without resources, one would fall behind others. If you don't complete the mission in half a year, you will be punished by the sect. The purple-robed law enforcer then left. The purple-robed law enforcer left after saying that. Zhao Feng was stunned. He had been cultivating the golden Kuan sacred lightning body and the 5 elemental wind lightning technique for the past 3 months, so he had forgotten about this. I'll finish all the missions for the next year and get some resources. Zhao Feng made a decision. He felt pain to have 3 months' worth of resources deducted from a core disciple's salary. No matter how small a fly's leg was, it was still meat, especially to Zhao Feng, who had just recultivated. Shua. After deactivating the defensive array, Zhao Feng came out of seclusion and prepared to go on missions. At the same time, he would go to some places in the wilderness to tame some spiritual beasts. Zhao Feng, I've been waiting for you. A lean and sharp-looking man leaped forward to block Zhao Feng. It was Huang Yunhu. He had waited an entire month for today. Now that he had borrowed a flying spiritual beast from King Lu Yun, he could counter Zhao Feng's Yiming bird. Loser. Zhao Feng glanced at him with disdain. Hearing this, the crowd broke out into chaos. Huang Yunhu almost went crazy from anger. He had been looked down upon by this true mystic rank brat. Zhao Feng, you still have the nerve to say that when you used your spiritual beast last time. This brat doesn't know shame. The nearby central disciples all felt embarrassed for Zhao Feng and laughed. The central disciples all knew that Huang Yunhu had something to rely on this time. Zhao Feng, don't fight. Huang Yunhu borrowed his Master King Lu Yun's twin-legged thunderbird this time, said a gentle and concerned female voice. The lightning bird has the cultivation of a great origin core realm, sovereign lord. Senior Marshal Sister Wan? Zhao Feng glanced over and saw Senior Marshal Sister Wan Rong rushing over. Her gentle aura immediately attracted the gazes of the nearby male disciples. Senior Marshal Sister Wan, don't worry. He's just a loser. Zhao Feng smiled. He had a good impression of Senior Marshal Sister Wan. After all, she had healed him when he had just taken over this body. Brat, don't be arrogant. Huang Yunhu was enraged. How could he tolerate being looked down upon by a true mystic rank youth? After speaking, a token appeared in his hand, and a wisp of king intent appeared on it. In the next instant, crackle, a large two-legged lightning bird appeared in a flash of lightning. It was even slightly bigger than Zhao Feng's Yiming bird. King intent, Zhao Feng murmured. It wasn't hard for him to see that Huang Yunhu could control the two-legged lightning bird for a short amount of time. Otherwise, even though Huang Yunhu was at the half-step origin core realm, he wouldn't even be able to get past the sovereign lord rank two-legged lightning bird. Who? Zhao Feng didn't hesitate. He waved his hand, and a giant flaming bird charged into the sky. So, Huang Yunhu and Zhao Feng arrived in the air above a piece of ruins. The clash of two origin core realm birds attracted the attention of many members of the 10,000 Sacred Clan. Boom, boom. The two-legged lightning bird and the Yiming bird started to fight in the air. Huang Yunhu and Zhao Feng immediately pulled apart. In terms of cultivation, there was a huge difference between them and the two birds. For example, Zhao Feng, apart from his soul intent and eye bloodline, he probably wouldn't even be able to dodge the two-legged lightning bird and the Yiming bird. Ha ha, brat, you won't be able to escape this time. Huang Yunhu laughed as he circulated his half-step true yuan and turned into a pillar of scarlet earth crystal that shot toward Zhao Feng. As expected of a core disciple, the powerful aura of a half-step primal core realm made the nearby, spectating core disciples tremble. Wang Yuan and Senior Marshal Brother Wang had bright smiles on their faces. The difference between the true mystic rank and the half-step origin core realm wasn't small. If Zhao Feng was at the true lord rank, he might be able to block it. However, a true mystic rank would be instantly killed by a half-step origin core realm. Shua, Huang Yunhu charged toward Zhao Feng with a heavy force. A normal true mystic rank wouldn't even be able to fight back. Huang Yunhu stopped. Senior Marshal's sister, Wan Rong, not far away, couldn't bear to watch. However, Zhao Feng had an expressionless expression as he floated in the air. Shua, a pair of smooth wings of wind and lightning extended from Zhao Feng's back, as if they were alive. An arc of wind and lightning flashed. Boom! Huang Yunhu's ferocious charge missed. He nearly lost his balance on the spot. What? Huang Yunhu only felt his vision blur as he hit a blur. In the next instant, he felt the roar of lightning and a coldness spread down his back. A figure with wings of lightning flashed behind him. Wind lightning handblade. Zhao Feng's right hand was in the shape of a blade, and a layer of wind lightning appeared on his metallic palm. Crack! The wind lightning blade light, pushed by a powerful physical force, cut through Huang Yunhu's half-step quintessential essence layer. Arc! Huang Yunhu screamed as blood splattered from his back. His body was sent flying dozens of yards away by the wind lightning handblade and smashed into a ruined building. That slash had injured him quite a bit. The spectators nearby broke out into discussion. What speed! That wings of wind and lightning seems to be a secret skill of our sex wind lightning technique. Only a small number of people saw the difference in the clash. Firstly, Huang Yunhu had underestimated his opponent first. Secondly, Zhao Feng's shocking speed and the skills of the flying master allowed him to instantly appear behind the target and slash out. What was even more incredible was that the power of Zhao Feng's slash and his powerful body caught Huang Yunhu off guard. That slash contained the power of the 5 elemental wind lightning technique and the golden Kuan sacred lightning body. I underestimated my opponent. Huang Yunhu clenched his teeth and barely managed to get up. In the air, the youth with wings on his back was extremely handsome, like an angel of battle. Zhao Feng, is this your power? Wanrong's eyes twinkled with shock and doubt. She had a certain level of understanding towards this youth who had just entered the clan. How did Zhao Feng change so much in just 2 to 3 months? Wind lightning exploding fist. Zhao Feng's fist expanded, and it seemed to have a metallic feel to it as it created a dazzling explosion of wind and lightning. Limitless Earth. Huang Yunhu's body was covered in a crimson light, and he was like a burning mountain that shook the air. Boom! 2 figures clashed in the air, creating a thunderous sound. Whoosh! Whoosh! One of the figures with lightning wings used the force to retreat. Wah! The other figure covered in scarlet light spat out a mouthful of blood as he was pushed back by the powerful shockwaves. Huang Yunhu, you've lost again. The wings of wind and lightning on Zhao Feng's back quickly retracted. He had relied on his powerful defense and reaction speed to not be injured in the clash just now. Huang Yunhu's face was pale, and he had lost most of his battle power. It's all because I underestimated my opponent at the start and was heavily injured. Otherwise, the odds of winning would have been 50-50. Huang Yunhu's face was filled with humiliation, and his fists trembled. That was especially so when Zhao Feng said that he had lost again. It almost made him go crazy, but there was nothing he could do. The spectators nearby were dumbfounded as they witnessed this unexpected turn of events. However, they didn't know that this was only the beginning of a miracle. Chapter 770. None of the central disciples present could accept Huang Yunhu's defeat. This was especially so for the few that knew the original Zhao Feng. Among them, senior martial sister Wanrong's eyes locked onto Zhao Feng. Apart from shock, there was also suspicion. She felt that the current Zhao Feng and the Zhao Feng of the past were 2 completely different people, whether in terms of temperament or strength. He seemed to sense something. The handsome youth, who was the focus of everyone's attention, looked over with a faint smile and met senior sister Wanrong's eyes. The Zhao Feng in front of her wasn't just handsome. He also had an indescribable sense of masculinity and confidence. His charisma was enough to make the hearts of most women jump. When their gazes met, Wanrong's heart started to jump. In her vision, that pair of mysterious eyes seemed to have a soul-sucking power that made senior martial sister Wanrong fall into it. Her face couldn't help but go red, and her heart jumped as she lowered her head in embarrassment. Wanrong found this hard to accept. She, who had always been reserved and quiet, had never shown such a girlish attitude in front of a young boy. However, that young man had left an indescribable good impression in her heart. She even had a trace of uncontrollable feelings for him. Zhao Feng smiled faintly and took back his gaze. Just now, he sensed senior martial sister Wanrong's suspicions, so he used the heart-controlling technique to dissolve her suspicions and make her have a good impression of him. This way, senior martial sister Wanrong wouldn't suspect him or think negatively of him. Zhao Feng didn't want to kill Senior Marshal's sister Wan Rong because of her suspicions. This ability to control people's minds could resolve some small problems for Zhao Feng without spilling blood. Apart from Senior Marshal's sister Wan Rong, not many people in the 10,000 Sacred Clan knew the original Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng nodded his head. The original Zhao Feng was a loner, and not many people knew about him. This way, Zhao Feng's rise wouldn't raise too many suspicions. After all, there were many geniuses in the world who had great fortune. Huang Yinhu, you've already lost. Why aren't you putting away the two-legged Thunderbird? Zhao Feng looked at the sky. The two-legged Thunderbird and the Yiming bird were locked in battle. The Yiming bird was at a disadvantage in terms of cultivation, so it would definitely lose if the battle continued. At this moment, a king's will surge through the air, and the medallion in Huang Yunhu's hand suddenly lit up. It released a layer of lightning and put away the two-legged lightning bird. Only a small number of people present could sense the existence of the king intent. Zhao Feng was one of them. The king intent paused for a moment on Zhao Feng's body. At the same time, in the residence of a king elder of the 10,000 Sacred Clan, that brat's cultivation technique is mysterious and peculiar. The aura on his body is also very strange. If you don't have a great teacher to guide you, you will definitely have a great opportunity. King Lu Yun murmured. He secretly paid attention to Zhao Feng. If Lin Yun was able to make some progress in the next half a year, King Lu Yun would consider accepting him as his direct disciple. Whoosh! The Yiming bird took Zhao Feng away with a gust of cold wind. This Zhao Feng's strength has increased by leaps and bounds in the past few months. There must be some kind of secret or great fortune on him. The disciples below started to discuss. Huang Yunhu's expression was grim as he struggled to stand up. Wang Yuan, Senior Marshal Brother Guang, and company immediately came over and helped him up. I didn't think that Zhao Feng would have such great fortune and become so strong. Looks like the following missions won't be able to pose much of a threat to him. Senior Marshal Brother Guang's expression kept changing. Zhao Feng's true strength had exceeded his expectations. I need to tell the Yin family about this as soon as possible. Otherwise, he'll be a great threat. Senior Marshal Brother Guang soon made up his mind. On the other side, Zhao Feng sat on the Yiming bird and landed in front of the mission hall. 3 months ago, Zhao Feng didn't complete the missions on time, so there was a total of 3 missions per month. Zhao Feng didn't put any of the 3 missions in his eyes. He was preparing to do large amounts of missions, including some of the more difficult ones, to accumulate resources and points. Within a side hall, Zhao Feng, you've missed 3 missions. I'll give you missions now. A black-faced deacon with sharp eyes said coldly. Zhao Feng expressionlessly waited for the missions to be given to him. The next 3 missions were punishment type. They couldn't be chosen, and there were no rewards. Soon, Zhao Feng received the first mission. The objective of the mission was to kill a type of mud poison lizard that lived in the center of the swamp and obtain the mud poison heart in its body. There were 20 of them. The mud poison lizards weren't strong, and a true human rank could easily finish off a few of them. However, Zhao Feng soon saw the difficulty of this mission. The mud poison lizards were beasts that lived in groups of several hundred. Each group would have a mud poison lizard king whose strength was comparable to the true lord rank. Furthermore, these lizards lived in the depths of the swamp, and Zhao Feng's Yiming bird couldn't do much. It was obvious that this mission was targeted at Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng expressionlessly accepted the mission and sat on the Yiming bird. For hours later, he arrived at the swamp. An hour later, Zhao Feng had obtained 1,000 mud poison hearts. Furthermore, he had tamed 2 true lord rank mud poison lizard kings. This mud poison lizard king had the power of poison and corrosion. It even had the special ability to petrify. Its defense was also extremely strong. After handing in the mission, Zhao Feng exchanged 1,000 mud poison hearts for points and rewards. The 2 mud poison lizard kings were auctioned off at the exchange castle. As a tamed spiritual pet, its price was several times higher than that of a pure demonic beast, or even a dozen times higher. The second mission, Zhao Feng came over and accepted the punishment mission. The black-faced deacon was slightly surprised and quickly gave the second mission to Zhao Feng. After reading the mission, Zhao Feng's eyebrows furrowed. This mission was a group mission and its rank was slightly high. The second day, in front of the Hall of Missions. "Guys, are you ready?" A drunken Origin Core Realm elder looked at Zhao Feng and company with crooked eyes. The leader was an Origin Core Realm expert. From this, it could be seen that the rank of the mission wasn't low. Zhao Feng's gaze swept over the crowd. Most of them were different and had bad characters. After all this time, these members of the clan were the ones that hadn't completed the mission and were put together. Looking at the drunk leader, Zhao Feng lost confidence in this mission. At the very least, it wouldn't be easy. "Everyone, I'll be leaving first." Zhao Feng left the group and went alone. "Brat, how are you going to complete the mission if you don't know the details?" The Origin Core Realm elder smiled mockingly. As a group mission, the details were in the hands of the leader. Meow meow. Right at this moment, a silver-gray cat grabbed a special leather scroll and landed on Zhao Feng. "Arg, my mission scroll." The leader of the Origin Core Realms roared in anger as he sobered up. However, the Yiming bird that Zhao Feng sat on was extremely fast, and no one could catch up to it. The group instantly beat their chests and cursed, causing many people in front of the Hall of Missions to look at them. The second mission is to destroy a group of bandits in the northern mountains of the 10,000 Sacred Clan. Apparently, the leader of the bandits broke through to the Origin Core Realm half a year ago, and he's much more dangerous now. Zhao Feng looked through the details of the mission. The mission scroll described the location of the mission, as well as some of the characteristics of the bandit group's strength. Several hours later, Zhao Feng sat on the Yiming bird and arrived at the location of the incident. Seeing that there was no one around, Zhao Feng opened his god's spiritual eye and scanned everything within several thousand miles. Not long after, in a cave palace, screams rang out incessantly. A while later, the Yiming bird carried Zhao Feng away from the tattered cave with a bloody aura, in just the time it took for half an incense stick to burn. Zhao Feng cleaned out the base of this bandit group and obtained the heads of the bandit leaders as tokens. Within the Hall of Missions of the 10,000 Sacred Clan, the second mission has been completed. Zhao Feng gave the items to the black-faced deacon. "I heard that you left the group again and went on this mission by yourself?" The black-faced deacon had a weird expression. He confirmed again and again that Zhao Feng had completed the mission, and he had all the items and heads. Just in case, Zhao Feng deliberately made things difficult for him in the future. So Zhao Feng recorded a special scene that replayed the entire process of the bandit map being destroyed. The black-faced deacon was speechless. The third quest, I'm sorry, is also a team quest. The black-faced deacon opened a scroll, and a playful smile appeared on his face. Zhao Feng rolled his eyes. "But don't worry, the mission this time is special. The members aren't like those ruffians from last time." The black-faced deacon added in a solemn tone. "Special mission?" Zhao Feng opened the scroll and glanced at it. This mission wasn't very secretive. Special mission: destroy a native lord dynasty. Mission description: a native lord dynasty has just been born in a small region in the southwestern part of the Tianfeng Great Island Zone and has insulted the Great Gan Lord dynasty. Zhao Feng couldn't help but take in a cold breath after reading the content. He then looked at the mission description and saw that the members were all extremely strong. The leader and vice leader were both at the Great Origin Core Realm. There were 7 at the Small Origin Core Realm and 40 to 50 at the True Spirit Realm. This was the first time Zhao Feng had participated in such a powerful group. Zhao Feng also saw Senior Marshal Sister Wan Rong and Senior Marshal Brother Guang Tian in the list of members. The next morning, this powerful mission team met up in front of the main hall. The leader was an elder with a white beard and a white robe. He had a solemn expression and gave off an invisible aura. Everyone knows that the southeastern part of the continent zone and the nearby limitless ocean belong to the Great Gan Lord dynasty. The elder in white robes paused for a moment. The Great Gan Lord dynasty. Zhao Feng hadn't cultivated for long and didn't know much about this Lord dynasty. However, he knew that the oceans, including the Tsang Ocean, belonged to the Great Gon Lord dynasty. The Great Gon Lord dynasty gathers the providence of this world and won't allow a second Lord dynasty to be established. The elder in white robes' eyes flashed. The mission this time was to destroy a new Lord dynasty that surpassed the canopy great country. Zhao Feng and Senior Marshal's sister Wan Rong stood together. This special mission was given by the Duke's Palace, the ruling organization of the Tianfeng Great Island Zone. The final reward is extremely generous. Wan Rong introduced in a low tone. Zhao Feng realized that the Great Gon Lord dynasty didn't rule the world of sex. It was the Great Gon Lord dynasty that ruled over this area. Chapter 771. The Great Gon Lord dynasty wasn't like normal mortal countries. It reigned above billions of lives, clans, and families. It gathered the fortune of heaven and earth and formed a supreme divine country. When the Great Gon's sacred emperor was enraged, millions of corpses would be killed, and 2-star and 3-star sects would tremble in fear. The law of the Lord dynasty was that everyone under the heavens was a soldier of the Lord dynasty. In name, the territory of the 10,000 sacred clan belonged to the Great Gon Lord dynasty. This mission isn't given by the clan. It should be from the Great Gon Lord dynasty. Zhao Feng understood. The Tianfeng Great Island Zone also had a Lord dynasty, and that was the Duke Palace. The Duke Palace had a duke who was a relative of the emperor, and he was given a part of the ocean near the Tianfeng Great Island Zone. Just this territory alone had more resources than the Qianlu Island Zone and the ancient Azure Island Zone combined. Everyone's here. I'll do the roll call. The leading elder in white robes had a powerful aura. During the roll call, the elder in white would ask about the strengths and abilities of those he wasn't familiar with. The elder in white paused when he heard the name Zhao Feng. Strengths: Beast Tamer. Zhao Feng reached out and touched the little thieving cat's fur as he answered succinctly. A weird expression appeared on the elder in white robe's face. This brat, at the true mystic rank, didn't respect a great origin core realm sovereign lord at all. On the other side, coldness flashed through Senior Marshal Brother Wang's eyes. Zhao Feng, this Lord Dynasty mission will be the day of your death. Senior Marshal Brother Guang calmed his emotions and walked over with a smile as he talked to Wan Rong, who was next to Zhao Feng. Senior Marshal Brother Guang had always liked Wan Rong, this gentle and beautiful junior marshal sister. In the past, Senior Marshal Brother Guang had already gained Wan Rong's trust and affection. However, Senior Marshal Brother Guang found that junior marshal sister Wan Rong and Zhao Feng were very close. In front of Zhao Feng, Wan Rong's beautiful smile blossomed. I'll let this pretty boy be happy for a few days. Senior Marshal Brother Guang suppressed the unhappiness in his heart. Not long after, this powerful team sat on a void ocean ship and flew out of the Tianfeng Great Island Zone. In the void sea, Zhao Feng looked down at the Great Island region, which was covered by a layer of light blue mist. He could vaguely see the outline of the river above. To be able to be called a Great Island region, its scale was 5 to 10 times that of an ordinary island region, and the resources and environment were superior. Zhao Feng also discovered that this place was close to the continent zone, where the qi of heaven and earth was denser, and the spatial structure and pressure were stronger. As such, it was the same level of power. It could destroy a city in the ash-gray sea. However, in the continent zone, it could only destroy a mountain manor. The ship's speed was shocking. It was more than half the speed of the ghost ship. Clearly, the cultivation civilization of the continent's dynasty was much more prosperous than that of the ash-gray sea. 3 days later, the ship approached an island region with thinner vital energy that was similar to the azure flower continent. This is the flawless region. Everyone, prepare for battle. The white-robed old man shouted. Inside the ship, Zhao Feng opened his eyes and exited cultivation. Over the past few days, his cultivation had reached the peak true mystic rank, and he would be able to break through to the true lord rank soon. Zhao Feng was satisfied with the progress of his cultivation. So, the void ship passed through the air membrane field of the island and created a shower of sparks. This island region is very similar to the azure flower continent. Zhao Feng sighed his heart. According to what he knew, the flawless region was at the edge of the Tianfeng Great Island Zone. The situation in this island region was chaotic, and it was extremely xenophobic. For a long time, it had been a lawless place. On the other hand, the Great Gan Lord dynasty's control over the limitless ocean wasn't as strong as before. For example, the Tsang Ocean that Zhao Feng was in was out of the Great Gan Lord dynasty's control. 2 hours later, a majestic palace tower appeared in his field of vision. Kill all the true spirit realm experts that escaped from the palace. The white-robed old man ordered. As soon as he finished speaking, a loud explosion sounded. Boom! An earth-grade giant axe fell from the sky, bringing with it an earth-shattering destructive star flame that instantly covered the tower of the imperial palace. In an instant, the palace tower was razed to the ground. The capital city where the imperial palace was located was also affected, and screams of slaughter filled the air. There were Origin Core realms and True Lord rank experts in the capital, and they all charged over with red eyes. To be able to establish a kingdom in their region, their strength was naturally not to be underestimated. However, this group was led by a great Origin Core realm sovereign lord, and all of them had complete Earth-grade weapons. They were peak 2-star sovereign lords, and their strength far surpassed this lord dynasty's. The area around the capital was filled with slaughter. At the start, the lord dynasty still had some ability to fight back, but it became a massacre later on. It looks like the prosperous Dewang dynasty of the Azure Flower domain was destroyed overnight just like that. Zhao Feng murmured. The reason he joined the battle was to deal with the true spirit realm experts that were running away. You frogs at the bottom of a well want to create a lord dynasty and fight for fortune with the Great Gan Lord dynasty. The white-robed sovereign lord's battle power was shocking as he slayed 2 Origin Core realms. At this moment, several Origin Core realms surrounded him, but they were all forced to retreat. At the same time as the battle continued, the white-robed old man ordered the others to kill the ones that escaped. Zhao Feng, senior martial sister Wan Rong, and the other true spirit realms were responsible for killing the small fry. Some members of the Imperials of the Lord dynasty escaped to a hidden place under the protection of experts. Zhao Feng was one of the members responsible for killing those that escaped. The royal family members who were being hunted fought back or knelt on the ground to beg for mercy. Zhao Feng's principle was to not kill those that surrendered. In reality, there was no true right or wrong in this battle, only different standpoints. One mountain couldn't contain 2 tigers. How could the Great Gan Lord dynasty allow another Lord dynasty to be created? At a certain moment, watch out, there's an ambush. Zhao Feng chased into a canyon and suddenly heard the screams of the clan members nearby. Arg, 1 Origin Core realm and several true spirit realms that had chased into the canyon died. Who is it? Zhao Feng squinted his eyes as he stood on the Yinming bird. Zhao Feng, you can only blame yourself for showing off. Today, in this chaotic land, will be the day you die. A hoarse voice sounded. A short-masked old man walked out of the canyon. The earth-gray dagger in his hand was still stained with blood. Apart from that, another 6 or 7 powerful auras appeared near the canyon, and the weakest of them was at the late-stage, small Origin Core realm. These people all wore black robes and masks. 2 sovereign lords and 6 sovereigns. The Yin family really thinks highly of me, Zhao Feng said mockingly. Facing so many people, the youth in front of him smiled faintly. Such a scene. This made the short old man and the others suspicious, and they secretly raised their guard. Brat, you'd rather die than admit defeat. The cold voice of a female sounded from behind. It was a skinny female in black robes surrounded by a layer of dark flames. This female also cultivated the Tao of death and soul, and her eyes were locked onto the Yinming bird. It was obvious that this ambush had been premeditated. The assassins of the Yin family were able to kill me so accurately in this chaotic situation. There's definitely a traitor in the group. Zhao Feng's heart was like a mirror. The traitor was about to be revealed. If Zhao Feng died in the chaotic situation of the Lord Dynasty mission, the clan wouldn't be too suspicious. The culprit could just shift the killer to the native Lord Dynasty. A long night is fraught with dreams. Let's kill them directly. The short elder at the Great Origin Core realm gripped the Earth-grade dagger and disappeared into the darkness. Shua. The next instant, a sharp coldness pierced into Zhao Feng's heart. The short old man was actually a rare shadow kill Dao expert. However, the earth-gray dagger in his hand froze as soon as it got close to Zhao Feng. Shua, a mysterious dagger that was as dark as a shadow, pierced through the short old man's head. How? The short elder froze as blood dripped onto the ground. The person who killed him also cultivated the Tao of assassination, and they were much more skilled than him. Meow meow. A silver-gray cat appeared behind the short elder and turned into a streak of dark silver light. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Several nearby Origin Core realms had holes in their chests. In the end, only the skinny woman in the dark flames was left. Her eyes were filled with fear, and her back was covered in cold sweat. It was obvious that she was stunned by the little thieving cat's mastery of the Tao of assassination. Zhao Feng was just about to attack when the sound of flying came from the distance. Young Master Zhao, hold on. We'll save you. Several Origin Core realm auras quickly closed in. The leader, an elder with peak Great Origin Core realm cultivation, held an earth-grade sword in his hand that turned into a streak of purple light that stabbed toward the skinny female. The skinny female was just about to dodge, but she saw Zhao Feng thrust his palm over. That palm seemed to have some kind of magical power, and a hazy maze of illusions appeared. Boom! Whoosh! The skinny female was dazed as she was instantly killed by the combined attacks of the elder and Zhao Feng. Whoosh! 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 The elder who attacked led several Origin Core realm elders to the scene. Zhao Feng, it's good that you're fine. The plain-clothed old man let out a long sigh of relief and wiped the sweat off his forehead. So, these people were the elders of the Zhao family, and they had come to save Zhao Feng after receiving some information. Elder, uncles, you've all come at the right time, Zhao Feng said slowly. Meow meow. The little thieving cat sat on his shoulder and looked at him with disdain. The elder and company couldn't help but sweat and have awkward expressions. If it weren't for the little thieving cat, they might have seen Zhao Feng's corpse by the time they arrived. This is Senior Thieving Cat. I obtained it several months ago during a great opportunity. Zhao Feng introduced. Greetings, Senior Thieving Cat. The expressions of the elder and company changed. This cat had easily defeated a group of Origin Core realm experts of the Yin family and instantly killed a sovereign lord of the Origin Core realm. Meow. The little thieving cat had a satisfied expression and acted like it was a senior. The elders of the Zhao family were even more flattered. Zhao Feng, I didn't think you'd have such fortune. With Senior Thieving Cat here, we don't need to worry about your safety. The elder in gray said. After chatting for a while, the elder's tone changed. Zhao Feng, there's something I need to tell you so you can be prepared. Oh, what is it? Cough, cough. It's about your marriage with Lady Shua. Chapter 772. Engagement? Zhao Feng frowned. After taking over this body, he would try his best to fulfill some of the wishes of this person. However, he had to get rid of the engagement. In his memories, Zhao Feng's fiancée, Luo Shi-er, was a famous beauty in the Cloud Range. Luo Shi-er was only 14 or 15 years old, but her beauty was so beautiful that it could put the moon to shame. She had a pleasant temperament and was as tranquil as water. Not only that, her talent was also top-notch. She had already become the disciple of a peak-tier king a year ago. Of course, no matter how beautiful Luo Shi-er was, Zhao Feng felt that she was just the fiancée of his previous master. Thoughts and what were the core of a person. Even though Zhao Feng had been reborn, he was still Zhao Feng. As for the matter of the fiancé, Zhao Feng had already made up his mind to cancel the marriage. He didn't want to be embroiled in trouble and have another fiancé in this life. Right at this moment, the elder in a cloth robe spoke. Feng, I know you've admired Luo Shuai for a long time, but I have to tell you something. Hearing this, Zhao Feng paused. Could there be a change in the situation? I heard that Luo Shuai wants to break off the engagement. The main reason is that the 8th prince of the Great Gan Lord dynasty has his eyes on her. The elder in a cloth robe said. A year ago, Zhao Feng and Luo Shuai had met once. At that time, Zhao Feng was attracted by Luo Shuai's beauty. At that time, Luo Shuai didn't hate Zhao Feng and even had a good impression of him. After all, Zhao Feng was a genius of the Zhao clan and a famous handsome youth. Elder, you mean that the Luo family wants to break off the engagement? Hearing this, Zhao Feng's eyes were filled with excitement and joy, but he tried to hide it. Break off the engagement? That was a good thing. Zhao Feng was overjoyed. He wanted nothing more than to break off the relationship with his fiancée. The elder in a cloth robe looked at Zhao Feng in shock. The young man before him didn't seem as angry or anxious as he had imagined. Instead, he seemed to be secretly delighted. The Luo family does intend to break off the engagement, although this matter depended on Luo Shuai. However, with the 8th prince's noble status and his imperial Dao bloodline, the Luo clan won't be able to reject him. The old man said solemnly. 8th prince, imperial bloodline. Zhao Feng felt strange in his heart. Why would the 8th prince, who was far away in the continent region's imperial capital, see Luo Shuai? How noble was the status of a prince of the great Qian dynasty. Even the true disciples of 3-star sects were far from being able to compare to them. The old man explained, we have to mention Luo Shuai's brother, Luo Zun. This Luo Zun is indeed impressive. He's a #1 genius of the Tianfeng Great Island Zone, and he's already a Void God Realm King. Luo Zun. There was information about this name in Zhao Feng's memory. The original Zhao Feng worshipped Luo Zun. Luo Zun became a Void God Realm King at the age of 32 and became a famous genius of the Great Qian Lord dynasty. After Luo Zun entered the continent zone, he was given a noble title and became good friends with the 8th prince. Recently, Luo Zun came to the Tianfeng Great Island Zone with the 8th prince to visit the Duke's palace, but he accidentally saw Luo Shuai. The old man in gray told Zhao Feng everything. Zhao Feng started to think. This was undoubtedly good news for him. Furthermore, the Yunling Zhao clan couldn't defend the 8th prince. If that's the case, then let's break off the engagement. Zhao Feng said decisively. Break off the engagement? The elder and company in gray were slightly surprised. Not only was Zhao Feng not angry or unwilling, he even asked to break off the engagement so decisively. Zhao Feng, it's good that you've thought it through. We're worried that Luo Shuai's brother, Luo Zun, will go to the 10,000 Sacred Clan to pressure you. That's right. Although Luo Zun is a genius, he's extremely domineering. The elders of the family were obviously wary and respectful when they mentioned Luo Zun's name. Don't worry, the engagement is settled. Zhao Feng waved his hand impatiently. The eyes of the elder in gray twinkled, and he wanted to say something. He stared at Zhao Feng for a while and felt that something was wrong. So, right at this moment, the members of the 10,000 Sacred Clan arrived. This included Senior Marshal Brother Wang. Seeing this scene, Senior Marshal Brother Wang was obviously surprised. Zhao Feng's luck is so good that the elders of the family are here to save him. Unhappiness appeared in Senior Marshal Brother Wang's eyes. How many times had Zhao Feng passed through danger from the Wuyo forest until now? He was able to avoid danger every time. Zhao Feng said goodbye to the elders of the family, and his sharp gaze swept across Senior Marshal Brother Wang. Senior Marshal Brother Wang's heart went cold. Zhao Feng's gaze made him feel uneasy and guilty. This Senior Marshal Brother Wang colluded with the Yin family and tried to kill me many times. However, he's a disciple of a king. I'll take care of him when the time is right. Zhao Feng had his own plans. Flawless Zone. The newly built Lord dynasty was destroyed in one night. The 10,000 Sacred Clan suffered very few losses, The entire process was a massacre. On the same day, the group from the 10,000 Sacred Clan left the Flawless Zone on a limitless ocean ship and left behind a legend. Creating a lore dynasty was a taboo. This would be passed down in the Flawless Zone for generations, just like the Azure Flower Continent. Within the ship, after knowing that Zhao Feng had been assassinated, Senior Marshal's sister Wan Rong asked with concern and asked to check his injuries. It wasn't hard to see that Senior Marshal's sister Wan Rong had a good impression of Zhao Feng. Looking at his gentle and calm Junior Marshal's sister being so close to Zhao Feng, Senior Marshal Brother Guang was filled with jealousy. However, the Yin family's assassination attempt had been completely wiped out. Senior Marshal's sister Wan Rong's care made Zhao Feng feel helpless. At first, in order to resolve Senior Marshal's sister Wan Rong's suspicions, he secretly used a heart-controlling eye bloodline technique to affect her emotions and make her have a good impression of him. However, he didn't expect Senior Marshal's sister Wan Rong to have feelings for him. Zhao Feng didn't dare to use this heart-controlling eye bloodline technique too obviously. For example, Senior Marshal Brother Guang couldn't use it easily in case his master found out. However, on the way, Senior Marshal Brother Guang's jealousy and hatred made Zhao Feng enjoy it. Junior Marshal Brother Zhao, there's still 5 months until the Divine Illusion Dimension opens. If you work hard, you might have a chance. Senior Marshal's sister Wan thought of this and couldn't help but speak. When the Divine Illusion Dimension was mentioned, the young disciples couldn't help but become excited. Apparently, the Divine Illusion Dimension is a dimension left behind by an ancient god from the realm of the gods before he died. It connects to the continent once every 100 years. The Divine Illusion Dimension contains resources from the Ancient Era and the Ancient Era. Many of the extinct plants and materials on the continent were obtained from the Divine Illusion Dimension. The disciples discussed. Even Senior Marshal Brother Wan's eyes lit up. From Senior Marshal's sister Wan, Zhao Feng understood the situation of the Divine Illusion Dimension. Firstly, the Divine Illusion Dimension wasn't something that a single force or clan could have. This dimension was said to be left behind by God, and it connected to the entire continent zone and the nearby seas. In other words, as long as they had the ability, all the powerful forces and families in the continent zone could connect to it. However, due to the fact that it was very weak, the connected spatial passageway was relatively weak. If a virtual god expert entered, it would be unstable. Normally, all the big powers and sects would send half-step kings and experts under them in. However, there were a few who could send void god realm kings in safely. The Divine Illusion Dimension wasn't an inheritance. It was a dimension that had been abandoned by God. Every 100 years, it would connect to the continent zone. Furthermore, it didn't have an age limit, only cultivation. Even experts of the older generation could enter. It could be said that this was the biggest event of the continent zone. In the Divine Illusion Dimension, one could meet Imperials, geniuses of big families, and non-human experts. Even members of 3-star and even 4-star sects would appear in the Divine Illusion Dimension, regardless of age. No wonder. The connection to the Divine Illusion Dimension would make the blood of the core disciples boil. Since there are large amounts of resources in this dimension, I obviously won't miss it. Zhao Feng said unconsciously. He was the same as the child demigod. His eyes lit up when he heard about resources. The moment these words were said, it caused the other people on the ship to sneer and laugh. Brat, you don't even have the cultivation of a true lord rank. And you want to go to the Divine Illusion Dimension? An elder at the Origin Core Realm said playfully. The experts of the older generation were also very interested in the Divine Illusion Dimension. However, there weren't many spots for the older generation. Some clans and forces wanted to leave this fortune to the younger generation with more potential. Furthermore, some of the fortune in the Divine Illusion Dimension had a certain age and talent limit. Ha! Junior Marshal Brother Zhao, I think you should wait 100 years. The weakest cultivator from the 10,000 Sacred Clan that has entered the Divine Illusion Dimension is a peak True Lord rank or a half-step Origin Core Realm. Senior Marshal Brother Guang laughed. He had finally found a chance to attack Zhao Feng. Of course, he forgot that Zhao Feng had spiritual pets. Spiritual pets that were borrowed couldn't compete, but spiritual pets that were tamed and contracted weren't restricted. Furthermore, the 10,000 Sacred Clan didn't have a cultivation limit for those that competed. 3 days later, the Limitless Ocean ship arrived at the Tianfeng Great Island Zone. 10,000 Sacred Clan, Hall of Missions. The group received a generous reward. Being the leader, the Elder in White Robes received the most generous reward. Zhao Feng also received a reward that even normal true spirit realms would be moved by. After handing in the mission, Zhao Feng then went to the trading castle and received the primal crystal stones for the 2 mud-poison lizard kings. Unknowingly, Zhao Feng's wealth had increased. He used these rewards and primal crystal stones to trade for some body-strengthening resources. Most importantly, cultivating the golden Kuan sacred lightning body required a lot of energy and resources. Did you know that the #1 genius of the Tianfeng Great Island Zone, Luo Zun, has come to visit the clan? Luo Zun is one of the strongest kings of the Great Gon Lord Dynasty. It's said that a mysterious figure has arrived as well, and the elders of our sect have to personally receive him. Zhang Xian said, on the way back to his residence. Zhao Feng heard the discussion of some disciples. Zhao Feng's eyebrows furrowed. Luo Shui, Er's brother, had come so quickly? After returning to his residence, Zhao Feng opened the array and put up the seclusion token. He didn't want his recultivation plan to be interrupted. Chapter 773. Now that Zhao Feng had a certain amount of resources, he started to focus on cultivating the golden Kuan sacred lightning body. He was going to try to break through to the 3rd level of the sacred lightning body. Zhao Feng's body was soaked in the body-strengthening liquid, and wisps of wind lightning started to appear on the surface of his body as it started to refine his body. Normally speaking, body-strengthening techniques required a lot of willpower and determination to progress. Luckily, Zhao Feng had used the Immortal Springs wine and other items before, which allowed his body to change. Although his body hadn't been fully refined yet, his state of existence was close to the small origin core realm. The sacred lightning body could use the wind lightning technique to refine his body, which was an advantage. Therefore, even with enough resources, his cultivation was still very smooth. It could be described as advancing by leaps and bounds. Right as Zhao Feng was cultivating, Wang, 2 surges of magnificent force appeared in the air above his courtyard, causing the air around him to feel pressured. The light from the magnificent powers slowly faded, revealing the figures of 2 young males. These 2 males were dragons and phoenixes amongst men, and they had extraordinary auras. 8th Prince, this should be where Zhao Feng is staying. A muscular youth with thick eyebrows and wearing a large black robe said. His eyes were like lightning, and he gave off a pressure. Luo Zun, don't do anything rash. The 8th Prince raised his hand and smiled. If others know that I, Zhou Lu, as a prince, forcefully stole someone else's fiancée, it would be a stain to the Imperial's reputation. Compared to Luo Zun's dominance, the 8th Prince's actions were gentle. Not to mention his identity, the 8th Prince himself was a talented man with a handsome appearance. At this moment, many people had gathered near Zhao Feng's courtyard to watch. After all, 2 Void God Realm Kings had arrived. Furthermore, the 8th Prince and Luo Zun were both top geniuses of the Lord Dynasty. Of course, most of the disciples present didn't know the 8th Prince's identity. Brother Luo, you're here to find Zhao Feng? This brat seems to have heard some news, and he immediately entered seclusion. Senior Brother Guang walked forward respectfully. Of course, Senior Brother Guang knew Luo Zun. This kid is purposely avoiding me. Luo Zun's face darkened. There was a hint of anger in his eyes. According to Hirota, when Zhao Feng heard the news of his arrival, he immediately went into seclusion. It was obvious that he was acting shamelessly, refusing to give up on the engagement. Brother Luo, this is human nature. The eighth prince was not surprised, and he still had a smile on his face. After all, Luo Shui'er was so outstanding, and the Luo clan was a great clan in the Tianfeng Great Island Zone. The eighth prince could understand the mentality of ordinary people wanting to climb up the social ladder. Zhao Feng, disrespectful brat. Do you think you can marry my sister with this method? Luo Zun harumphed. An invisible, magnificent power enveloped Zhao Feng's courtyard. The defensive array formation over the courtyard suddenly dimmed and creaked, as if it would shatter at any moment. Within the room, Zhao Feng was cultivating, and he snickered coldly when he sensed this. What bastard is this? This is the 10,000 Sacred Clan. How dare you do as you please? The 10,000 Sacred Clan had strict rules. When a core disciple was in seclusion, they couldn't be disturbed unless there was a special situation. Luo Zun's actions could be said to be provoking the 10,000 Sacred Clan. Brother Luo, don't be rash. The eighth prince, Zhou Lu, stopped Luo Zun. Luo Zun was enraged, but he knew that he couldn't do anything to Zhao Feng in the territory of the 10,000 Sacred Clan. Furthermore, the Luo family was the one that wanted to break the engagement. In terms of morality, the Luo family couldn't stand on their side. On the other hand, Zhao Feng was the weaker one, and he stood on the moral high ground. At this moment, Luo Zun and the eighth prince were in an awkward situation. They didn't expect that Zhao Feng wouldn't even give face to a king and wouldn't come out. Brother Luo, don't worry. This brat will come out of seclusion sooner or later. He needs to receive the clan's salary, trade resources, complete missions, etc. Senior Marshal Brother Guang said. He immediately patted his chest and promised that he would send people to keep an eye on Zhao Feng. As soon as Zhao Feng came out of seclusion, he would notify Luo Zun immediately. Good. I still need to wait for that Zhao Feng to sign the contract in case he goes back on his word in the future. Luo Zun nodded his head in satisfaction. In his mind, Zhao Feng was already acting like a hoodlum, so he had to make sure that this matter was flawless. Right as Luo Zun and the eighth prince turned around and left. Luo Zun, eighth prince, you don't need to come back. You don't have to come anymore. I'll cancel the engagement with Luo Shui. A faint voice sounded. After speaking, Zhao Feng threw a letter that he had just written out of the courtyard. Whoosh! Luo Zun reached out and caught the letter. Seeing, on the letter, there were two striking and wild characters. Divorce letter. The two large words contained a strange impact of the intent realm. Even Luo Zun and the eighth prince's hearts shook slightly when they saw it, let alone those below the void god realm. Divorce letter? Brat! How dare you divorce my sister? Luo Zun was enraged, and his magnificent power shook heaven and earth. The terrifying, magnificent power of heaven and earth made the nearby disciples suffocate, and their hearts beat faster. The eighth prince's expression became ugly as well when he saw the divorce letter. Luo Zun, what do you want? I don't want to marry your sister. Isn't that what you want? A cold and indifferent voice echoed in the void. In this world, the male side's rejection letter was the divorce letter. The female side usually didn't have the right to reject the marriage. They could only break off the engagement, which went against morality. Zhao Feng's decision was very straightforward. He didn't want his cultivation to be interrupted again and again. You, Luo Zun roared, but he didn't know what to say. Indeed, he wanted to talk to Zhao Feng and break off the engagement. Zhao Feng was very straightforward and used the normal method in this world to break off the engagement, a divorce letter. However, he didn't expect that. His beautiful sister from the great Luo family had been divorced by this brat. Luo Zun was filled with anger and dissatisfaction. The eighth prince's expression became gloomy for the first time. He was a prince of the great Gan Lord dynasty. If he married a concubine who had been divorced by another man, he wouldn't be able to live with his face. At the end of the day, it was all about face. Being the dominant side, the Luo family wanted to break off the engagement and compensate the Zhao family, even if it was against morality. Logically speaking, since Zhao Feng was the groom, Breaking off the engagement was perfectly justifiable, but it would hurt the Luo family and the 8th prince's dignity. Zhao Feng, you will pay for what you did today. Luo Zun's angry roar echoed in the air, and his magnificent power made heaven and earth fall into a world of ice and fire. Zhao Feng's expression changed slightly within the room. Luo Zun cultivated a rare ice and fire technique. It was extremely difficult to deal with the elements of ice and fire. On top of that, Luo Zun could faintly see the outline of a spatial domain. This meant that he wasn't far away from becoming a domain-level king. Luo Zun. Several king intents appeared in the air. This is the territory of the 10,000 sacred clan. Please control yourself. It was obvious. Luo Zun's anger and magnificent power made the elders of the 10,000 sacred clan unhappy. No matter what, the 10,000 sacred clan was once a 3-star power and had a strong foundation. If it wasn't necessary, the 8th prince didn't want to offend the 10,000 sacred clan. In the Lord dynasty, the forces of the Lord dynasty and the forces of the Lord dynasty had always been balanced. Zhao Feng, we'll see. Luo Zun suppressed his anger and left Zhao Feng's courtyard with the slightly gloomy 8th prince. Zhao Feng stood on the moral high ground, and they couldn't use force in the 10,000 sacred clan. Within the room, Zhao Feng was immersed in cultivation. He didn't put Luo Zun's threat to heart. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed, and Zhao Feng's golden Kuan sacred lightning body had broken through to the 3rd level. From now on, Zhao Feng could kill true lord ranks with just his physical body alone, and he was unparalleled under the Origin Core realm. If he used the wind lightning technique, it would be like adding wings to a tiger. Before this, Zhao Feng's 5 elemental wind lightning technique had broken through to the 3rd level and it was approaching the peak 3rd level. At this moment in time, he placed his focus back on the wind lightning technique. The higher the level of the wind lightning technique, the faster the sacred lightning body would progress. In a most ideal state, Zhao Feng's wind lightning technique would always surpass the sacred lightning body by 1.5 levels. Zhao Feng planned to cultivate the 5 elemental wind lightning technique to the 4th level before going back to the golden Kuan sacred lightning body. However, the 4th level of the wind lightning technique was a turning point. The 4th level was the beginning of the 5 elemental wind lightning. The 5 elemental wind lightning technique focuses on the 5 elements. Metal gives birth to water, water gives birth to wood, wood gives birth to fire, fire gives birth to earth, earth gives birth to metal. After reaching the 10th level, the 5 elemental wind lightning can form a perfect cycle. Zhao Feng's thoughts were very clear. What was even more amazing was that the 4th level of the 5 elemental wind lightning technique could start with one of the 5 elements: metal, wood, water, fire, earth. Out of the 5 basic elements, he could choose any one of them to use as his starting elemental wind and lightning. The first 5 elemental wind lightning was very important as the foundation. Therefore, from the 4th to the 6th level, the first 5 elemental wind lightning was the foundation. After that, every level would give birth to a new 5 elemental wind lightning. The 4th level is the key. The first 5 elemental wind lightning needs to be chosen carefully. Zhao Feng's eyes twinkled. At this moment, he started to think. If he wanted stronger attacks at the beginning, fire and metal were good choices. If he wanted strong defense and foundation, earth, wind, lightning was the best choice. Apart from that, water and wood had their own advantages. Wood had the effect of increasing one's lifespan. It was also good at healing and support. But at the end, Zhao Feng chose water. Water was deep and had the most variations. It could be hard and soft. It could melt ice and strengthen attacks. Apart from that, it was also good at healing and defense. At the same time, water was the source of life. As the first 5 elemental wind lightning, its foundation wouldn't be much weaker than earth. There was another important point. Zhao Feng's god spiritual I would change the bloodline of this body, and he would be able to use the ice imperial spear soon. Furthermore, Zhao Feng's comprehension of ice and water was only below wind lightning in his previous life. Several days later, Zhao Feng's 5-elemental wind lightning technique had reached the peak of the 3rd level and had the requirements to reach the 4th level. In this period of time, Zhao Feng's cultivation broke through to the true Lord rank. Chapter 774. When Zhao Feng broke through to the true Lord rank, there was still 4 months until the divine illusion dimension opened. There's plenty of time, but I still need some water of wind resources to form the foundation of the water of wind lightning. Zhao Feng wasn't a rush. From the looks of it, his rebirth plan was progressing at a steady pace, even faster than he had expected. The 4th level of the 5-elemental wind lightning technique was a turning point, so Zhao Feng didn't dare to be slow. He didn't have many water of wind resources on hand. From the 4th to the 6th level, it would all be the foundation for the water of wind thunder, which would allow one to train it all the way to the half-step king warrior level. One could imagine how many water of wind and lightning resources would be needed. Within the room, Zhao Feng tried to form the water of wind lightning, and a ripple of water appeared on his body, along with the humming of wind and lightning. For the first 3 levels, he completed the elemental skeleton of wind and thunder. From the 4th level onwards, he would enter the door of the 5-elemental wind lightning. Zhao Feng merged the water of the 5-elemental wind lightning into his 1st level. In reality, within Zhao Feng's body, a water bloodline had formed, which was a byproduct of the god's spiritual eye. In the center of his purple soul sea, the blue lake was still the same. At the center of the lake was a mysterious whirlpool that connected to the ancient dream realm. Zhao Feng planned to enter the ancient dream realm after a while. A few days later, Zhao Feng used some water of wind resources, and a ripple of blue wind lightning appeared in his source of true spirit. The power of wind lightning was still the same, but it had the characteristics of water. However, at this moment, only 1/5 of Zhao Feng's source of true spirit had transformed into the water of wind lightning. Zhao Feng used the water of wind lightning to refine his body, and he found that the water of wind lightning had a certain effect on his organs. His physique would no longer be rigid and hard. It would be endowed with more tenacity. The 5-elemental wind lightning technique and the golden Kuan sacred lightning body are a perfect match. Zhao Feng could not help but praise him. When he mastered the 5-elemental wind and thunder and used them to refine his body would be immune to all kinds of attacks from the 5-elemental wind and thunder. This sacred lightning body was undoubtedly more perfect. Demigod Kuan, you probably didn't expect this day to come, Zhao Feng chuckled. Even in the mainland dynasties, demigods were extraordinary figures who stood at the top of the clouds. Back then, the demigod Kuan Yun's little trick helped Zhao Feng instead. Unfortunately, I won't have a chance to enter that heaven's legacy race city again, Zhao Feng murmured. He had experienced a reincarnation. His life was full of ups and downs. He was aware of the gains and losses, and he was indifferent to both praise and humiliation. In this world, it was impossible for any peak almighty to have a smooth journey. The path of life was full of ups and downs. On this day, Zhao Feng's cultivation had reached the early stage, true Lord rank. I'll finish all the missions for the next year and get some water elemental resources. Zhao Feng took off his seclusion token and walked out of the courtyard. As soon as he walked out, an outer disciple nearby whispered, "Quick, that brat's coming out." Several outer disciples stared at Zhao Feng's every move with a message token in their hands. Soon, Senior Marshal Brother Guang, who lived nearby, quickly arrived. How was this possible? True Lord rank. Senior Marshal Brother Guang could feel the change in Zhao Feng's aura from afar. It had only been a few months. That brat at the true human rank had jumped 2 ranks and reached the true Lord rank. Immediately, Senior Marshal Brother Guang took out a message token and was about to tell Luo Zun. This message token was given to him by Luo Zun before he left. However, just as Senior Brother Guang took out the communication token, his hand became empty. The communication token had disappeared. "My message token!" Senior Marshal Brother Guang exclaimed. "Meow meow." A silver-gray thieving cat grabbed Senior Marshal Brother Guang's message token and flashed away. At the same time, little thieving cat, good job. Zhao Feng rode the Yinming bird and flew away, leaving behind an enraged Senior Marshal Brother Guang. He took away Senior Marshal Brother Guang's message token. Without it, Senior Marshal Brother Guang wouldn't be able to contact Luo Zun in a short amount of time. The Tianfeng Great Island Zone was so big, and it wouldn't be easy for Senior Marshal Brother Guang to find Luo Zun again. Not long after, Zhao Feng rode the Yinming bird and arrived at the mission hall. In the next few days, Zhao Feng started to take missions like crazy. Every time he took a mission, it was for a specific area. This included some of the higher-ranked missions. In a short span of 10 days, Zhao Feng crazily completed dozens of quests. All of the quests were completed by himself at an extremely fast speed. Every time he returned to the mission hall to collect his rewards and points, he would be met with gasps of surprise. A measly True Lord rank completed so many missions that even Origin Core realms couldn't. There must be some secret on this brat. Within the mission hall, there were a few mission masters who relied on missions to obtain large amounts of cultivation resources. However, compared to Zhao Feng's insane efficiency, these people had to concede defeat. Over the past 10 days, the rewards and points that Zhao Feng received were enough to make the eyes of some Origin Core realms go red. The more he went, the more difficult the missions that Zhao Feng comprehended became. It's about time. I've finished all the missions for a year. Zhao Feng nodded his head. After that, the second thing he did was to alarm the clan. 4 to 5 days later, Zhao Feng returned to the clan and went straight to the exchange castle. This time, Zhao Feng had tamed a large number of spiritual pets, and their cultivations ranged from the true spirit realm to the great origin core realm. The spirit pet pouches on his body were all bulging. This large number of spiritual pets was thrown into the exchange castle and caused a huge commotion. Many rare and hard-to-tame spiritual pets appeared in Zhao Feng's hands. Many experts from the 10,000 Sacred Clan heard the news and came to buy or bid on these spiritual pets. Some rare spiritual pets even attracted the attention of Void God Realm Kings. Zhao Feng's talent as a beast tamer started to become famous in the 10,000 Sacred Clan. Just from this auction alone, Zhao Feng earned a large sum of primal crystal stones. Some experts of the clan heard of Zhao Feng's fame and came to ask him to tame spiritual pets. Every time Zhao Feng tamed a beast, he would earn more, and it was more efficient than doing missions. Of course, Zhao Feng wouldn't take low-level beast taming jobs. After accumulating a large sum of money, Zhao Feng returned to his residence and continued to cultivate the water of wind lightning. These resources are enough for me to reach the half-step origin core realm in one go. Zhao Feng was slightly excited. Of course, he also bought body strengthening, lightning Dao, and soul Dao treasures. The soul Dao treasures were the most expensive. However, Zhao Feng needed these precious soul Dao treasures to recover his soul and emperor intent. In the blink of an eye, another month passed. Zhao Feng's 5 elemental wind lightning technique had finally reached the 4th level. At this moment in time, the power of wind lightning within his source of true spirit had turned into the water of wind lightning. Zhao Feng circulated his true force, and a layer of water blue wind lightning surrounded his body. I wonder if the water of wind lightning can be used as the foundation for the water spirit divine change. Zhao Feng was slightly interested. The water spirit divine change could turn one's flesh and blood into liquid for a short period of time. It was a peerless technique of the water element. After using this technique, one could gain an undying body for a short period of time. Zhao Feng thought about it and found that it was possible. Once he succeeded, the water spirit divine change would probably become the water lightning divine change. Its defense wouldn't change, but its offense would increase dramatically. After cultivating the wind lightning technique to the 4th level, Zhao Feng used the water of wind lightning to refine the sacred lightning body. However, the 4th level of the 5 elemental sacred lightning body was also a dividing line. The first 3 levels were the foundation. From the 4th level onwards, each level was split into beginner, early stages, late stages, peak stages, and so on. The difficulty would increase. Once the sacred lightning body reached the late stages of the 4th level, one would be able to look down on those at the origin core realm. Therefore, Zhao Feng's sacred lightning body was slowly approaching the peak 3rd level. The 4th level was a big bottleneck. Zhao Feng let out a long breath. Facing the bottleneck of the 4th level, he even planned to go to the ancient dream realm. However, the spiritual fruits in ancient dream realm were extremely hard to digest, so now wasn't the best time. With Zhao Feng's current cultivation, he wouldn't be able to hunt wild beasts in the ancient dream realm, and it would be hard for him to travel. Zhao Feng, your letter. A whistling sound came from outside as a messenger from the sect flew past. Whoosh! A letter passed through the light screen of the formation and fused into it. The Zhao family of Yunling? Zhao Feng took the letter and opened it. His eyebrows furrowed. The letter mentioned, the battle between the Zhao clan and the Yin family was becoming more and more intense. On top of that, the Yin family had received the support of a mysterious power and was able to push back the Zhao clan. Feng the head of the Luo family, promised that as long as you apologize to the Luo family for the divorce letter, they will help you resolve this problem. The sigh of Zhao Feng's grandfather sounded at the end of the letter. Zhao Feng's expression became grim after reading the entire letter. Luo Zun, 8th Prince, is this all you've got? Zhao Feng wasn't an idiot. The strength of the Yin family and the Zhao clan was on the same level. Last time, Zhao Feng had killed several experts of the Yin family and severely injured them. Under this situation, how could the measly Yin family counterattack and bring danger to the Zhao clan? Whoosh! Zhao Feng used some force in his hand, and the letter turned into dust. Looks like I need to go to the Yunling Zhao clan. From the memories of the previous owner, Zhao Feng knew that Zhao Feng wanted to make the family great again. Furthermore, Zhao Feng and his grandfather were extremely close, and they were like father and son. At the end of the letter was a request from Zhao Feng's grandfather, so Zhao Feng couldn't ignore it. Immediately, Zhao Feng exited seclusion and rode the Yinming bird to the messenger hall of the 10,000 Sacred Clan. Can I send letters to the continent zone? Zhao Feng asked. Some big forces, such as 2-star sects, families, and lord dynasties can receive them. An old man who received the letter said, Sure, I'll send a letter to the Duanmu family in the continent zone. Zhao Feng spoke slowly. After saying that, he held a pen and wrote some content. Then, he used a special method to encrypt and seal it. Duanmu family? Are you talking about one of the 8 big families of the Great Gan Lord dynasty? The old man was dumbfounded. That's right. Zhao Feng confidently handed the letter over to the elder and handed over a large sum of primal crystal stones. It had been a while since he arrived at the Great Gan Lord dynasty. Zhao Feng finally remembered to write a letter to his master, Duanmu Qing, and Zhao Yufei to tell them that he was safe. They would meet again in the future. Chapter 775. The Duanmu family will receive your letter in about half a year. The elder examined Zhao Feng with a strange look in his eyes. The Duanmu family was one of the 8 big families of the Great Gan Lord dynasty, and it was comparable to a 3-star superpower. The 8 big families were closely related to the Great Gan Imperials, and their influence in the mortal world was even greater than some 3-star superpowers. Apart from the 4-star superpowers, the 8 big families stood at the peak of the continent. Half a year, Zhao Feng said to himself. The continent zone was even larger than he had expected. One had to know that the messenger had to use the teleportation array and had a very efficient route. Before he left, Zhao Feng bought a map of the Great Gan Lord dynasty. On the map, there were 18 provinces on the continent of the Great Gan Lord dynasty. One province was equivalent to the Tsang Ocean. For example, the Tsang Ocean and Nanlin Ocean were equivalent to a province of the Great Gan Lord dynasty, but their population density and cultivation level were far behind the provinces of the Great Gan Lord dynasty. Furthermore, There was more than one Lord dynasty in the continent zone. The description on the map was very objective. The current Great Gon Lord dynasty was in a period of decline. In the northern part of the continent zone, the Dark Moon Lord dynasty had risen tens of thousands of years ago and was ruled by non-humans and demons. At this moment, the biggest enemy of the Great Gon Lord dynasty was the Dark Moon Lord dynasty. They didn't have time to care about the weaker ocean zones in the Song Ocean. Zhao Feng put the map away. Zhao Feng sat on the Yinming bird and flew toward the Zhao family according to his memory. Half a day after Zhao Feng left, whoosh, a general in blue robes at the half-step king level flew to the 10,000 sacred clan. Wang, a shiny silver token, expanded to 100 yards and floated in the air. There was a purple dragon on its surface, and it gave off a powerful king aura. The aura from the token seemed to be connected to heaven and earth. Noble token. Some experts of the 10,000 sacred clan were alerted. Even if it wasn't the main token of the noble token, its aura was still extraordinary. General, what can I do for you? An enforcer captain at the half-step king level came over. An order from the Duke's mansion. Summon your sex, genius beast tamer, Zhao Feng. The blue-robed general said indifferently. Zhao Feng. Some people from the 10,000 sacred clan looked at each other and soon came to a conclusion. If it was just Zhao Feng, they might not be able to find him so quickly. However, for someone from the Duke's residence to call him a genius beast tamer, it was clear that he was the target. After a while, an elder at the Origin Core realm answered, General, unfortunately, Zhao Feng already asked to leave the clan half a day ago. He has some business to attend to. In the sect, disciples and even mid-level members would usually have their whereabouts recorded when they went out or carried out missions. This was not only a strict restriction of the sect rules, but also a form of protection for the disciples. In this way, even if a disciple were to go missing or meet with an accident, the sect would be able to quickly find clues by following the clues. Therefore, for a sect like the 10,000 Sacred Clan, normal outsiders wouldn't dare to kill them easily. Why are people from the Duke's palace looking for Zhao Feng? Senior Marshal Brother Guang's eyebrows furrowed. His message token with Luo Zun had been stolen by Zhao Feng, so he was looking for Zhao Feng and wanted to sue him. At the same time, Zhao Feng sat on the Yinming bird and flew toward the northern part of the Tianfeng Great Island Zone. Half a day later, ahead was a mountain range that merged with the clouds and mist. Zhao Feng knew that the Yunling area was a rather remote area in the Tianfeng Great Island Zone. Here, the most abundant resources were some low-grade ores and crystals. These resources might not even be worth mentioning in the eyes of two-star sections. However, this place was the lifeline of some of the families in the Yunling area. The Zhao clan and the Yin family were the top forces in the Yunling area, and they had competed with each other for many years. After going through the memories, the Yinming bird that Zhao Feng sat on arrived at the territory of the Zhao clan. Soon after, the Yinming bird landed on a castle at the peak of a mountain. This castle was called the Zhao family castle, and it was the true headquarters of the Zhao clan. In comparison, the nearby cities were just some of the forces of the Zhao clan. In general, the Zhao clan of the Yunling area was countless times stronger than the Zhao clan of Sunfeather City in Zhao Feng's previous life. It could be said that, even if all the forces in the Cloud area combined together, they wouldn't be a match for the Zhao clan of the Yunling area. However, the arrival of the Yinming bird still caused a commotion in the Zhao family castle. After all, this wasn't the 10,000 Sacred Clan, which was close to a 3-star force. The Yinming bird was a rare spiritual beast, and it was extremely rare to see it in the Zhao family castle. It's young Master Zhao. Young Master Zhao is back. Some of the members of the Zhao family castle soon recognized Zhao Feng and were very excited. Zhao Feng was a once-in-a-thousand-year genius of the Yunling Zhao clan. Zhao Feng obviously knew what kind of expectations the Yunling Zhao clan had placed on him. Feng, or young Master Zhao, voices filled with pride and admiration sounded. Zhao Feng had a smile on his face as he nodded at the members of the Zhao clan of the Yunling area and didn't say anything. A small number of people who were familiar with the original Zhao Feng felt that young Master Zhao had changed. A while later, in a great hall of the Zhao clan, Zhao Feng met some of the upper echelon members of the Zhao clan of the Yunling area. However, the atmosphere in the hall was solemn. Zhao Feng, you were too rash. How could you divorce Luo Shui in front of everyone? The head of the family and the elders scolded. As a mid-tier family in the Tianfeng Great Island Zone, the Zhao clan of the Yunling area was comparable to a 1.5-star sect. The cultivation of the upper echelon members of the family was all at the Origin Core Realm. One or two of the elders were even at the Great Origin Core Realm. You call me back just to scold me? Zhao Feng's voice was slightly cold. He didn't have any feelings for the Zhao clan of the Yunling area. However, because he had taken over this body, he was able to fulfill some of the wishes of the original owner. Disrespecting your elders. How do you talk back? Head of the family Zhao Tianyi roared coldly as anger and surprise appeared in his eyes. Although the original Zhao Feng wasn't very obedient, he had never talked back to an elder of the family like this. Now that he's grown up, he doesn't even put us elders in his eyes. An elder sighed. If it was a normal disciple, the head of the family would have slapped him already. However, with Zhao Feng's current status, they didn't dare to do anything. After all, he was the biggest hope of the Zhao clan in the past several hundred years. Moreover, they had heard that Zhao Feng had obtained great fortune and obtained the spiritual pet of Senior Thieving Cat. Speak. What business do you have to discuss with me? Zhao Feng said impatiently. He didn't come back to listen to scolding. The upper echelon members of the Zhao clan paused. Zhao Feng's way of doing things was completely different from before. Fenger, you've changed. A white-haired old man limped in from the side hall. This white-haired elder was Zhao Feng's grandfather. The original Zhao Feng's parents had both died, and he only had his grandfather since he was young. At his peak, Grandfather Zhao was an Origin Core Realm sovereign, but due to an accident, his cultivation dropped to the half-step Origin Core Realm. Grandfather, I'm no longer the Zhao Feng of the past. Zhao Feng smiled faintly. In his memories, this grandfather Zhao had spent a lot of effort on Zhao Feng. In order to raise Zhao Feng into a peerless genius, Grandfather Zhao had spent all his savings. The original Zhao Feng was filled with respect and gratitude towards Grandfather Zhao. Hearing Zhao Feng's words, Grandfather Zhao paused and looked deeply at Zhao Feng. The grandson in front of him was far different from the one in his memories. Grandfather Zhao couldn't see through this grandson at all. The upper echelon members of the Zhao clan also realized that Zhao Feng's attitude could be described with one word, cold. Zhao Feng, I hope you can give us an explanation about divorcing Luo Shui and make up for the consequences. Zhao Tianyi said, Explanation? I don't want to marry Luo Shui. Divorcing her is the right thing to do. Zhao Feng spoke the truth. He had wanted to cut off his relationship with his fiancée. Luo Shui is the daughter of the Luo family. It's your honor to be married to the Luo family. Zhao Tianyi slammed the table and stood up. Hearing this, Zhao Feng looked at him coldly. His cold gaze caused the patriarch of the Zhao clan and the upper echelons to feel it chilled down their spines. Meow meow. A silver-gray cat appeared on Zhao Feng's shoulder. The existence of this cat made the upper echelon members of the Zhao clan even more wary. The elder in plain clothes was also present, and he immediately tried to persuade the head of the Zhao clan to stop. With the 8th prince's interference, it's impossible to marry the Luo family. Tianyi, don't worry about this. The elder in plain clothes signaled with his eyes. The upper echelon members calmed themselves down and looked at Zhao Feng in a new light. As for apologizing to the Luo family, don't mention it. Zhao Feng's words shut the mouths of the head of the Zhao clan and the others. The Luo family was the one who broke off the marriage, and Zhao Feng divorcing Luo Shui was morally sound. I'm afraid that the Luo family won't do anything to us on the surface, but they'll secretly support the Yin family. Grandpa Zhao was worried. Recently, the Yin family had the support of a mysterious force, and they had started to invade the Zhao clan. At this moment, the Zhao clan was in a moment of life and death. The reason I returned this time is to eradicate the Yin clan. Once the Yin family is gone, the Zhao clan will have no opponents in the Yunling sect. A sharp light flashed in Zhao Feng's eyes. Eliminate the Yin family? The upper echelon members of the Zhao clan were shocked, and they thought, what arrogance. But when they saw how confident Zhao Feng was, the Yinming birdmount and senior thieving cat, they couldn't help but believe him a little. Zhao Feng will believe you. Zhao Qianni nodded slightly and changed the topic. But if you can't solve the crisis of the family, I hope you can go to the Luo family and apologize. Apologize? In comparison, it'll be easier to eliminate the Luo family. With a playful smile, Zhao Feng left the hall. Arrogant brat, don't be afraid of the wind cutting your tongue. The upper echelon members of the Zhao clan yelled. The youth in front of them ignored them and walked further and further away. In Zhao Feng's room in the Zhao family's castle, creak, an old, staggering figure pushed open the door and entered the house. It was Grandpa Zhao. You aren't Feng? Grandpa Zhao stared at Zhao Feng and said with a trembling voice. Chapter 776. You are not Feng or... Grandpa Zhao's tone was firm as he stared at this grandson that was becoming more and more unfamiliar. Zhao Feng stood with his hands behind his back, his expression calm. If Grandpa Zhao still couldn't see through it, then it would be strange. Zhao Feng didn't plan to hide this matter. It was simply too troublesome to disguise as someone else. Your judgment is correct. I'm not Zhao Feng. The real him died a few months ago. Zhao Feng strolled leisurely as he looked at the scenery in the yard. You took over his body and killed him. Grandpa Zhao's eyes were filled with anger and murderous intent. But the body of the man in front of him belonged to his grandson. Grandpa Zhao tried his best to control himself. Furthermore, this stranger was so calm and fearless, causing the old grandpa to subconsciously maintain his rationality. Although I took over his body, the one who killed him was someone else. Zhao Feng expressionlessly waved his hand. Whoosh! A rippling blue light screen appeared in front of the two of them. On the screen, scenes quickly appeared. From Zhao Feng being killed by the people of the Yin family to the process of the purple lightning merging into his body. Yin family. Grandpa Zhao was dazed. He could completely recognize that the people who killed him were from the Yin family. Furthermore, the scenes that Zhao Feng outlined, even the voices of those people could be heard. These bastards of the Yin family are jealous of Feng, Er's achievements, and actually did such a despicable thing. Grandpa Zhao roared in grief and anger. I'm just borrowing this body to continue living on behalf of your grandson. Zhao Feng concluded. Hearing this, Grandpa Zhao's heart shook. His expression was complicated as he stared at Zhao Feng for a long time, tears flowing down his face. Zhao Feng knew that Grandpa Zhao had spent too much effort on the body of the original Zhao Feng. After a long time, Grandpa Zhao's emotions calmed down a bit. He stared at Zhao Feng. No matter who you are, you must use this body to live well. Of course, you don't need to say this. Zhao Feng gave a faint smile. I will live a more exciting life than him. I will also do my best to help him fulfill some of his wishes. Including this time, I will help the Zhao clan resolve the crisis. Zhao Feng's words caused Grandpa Zhao's dim gaze to reignite. At this moment, he seemed to have transferred the hope he had placed on Zhao Feng to Zhao Feng. It wasn't hard for Grandpa Zhao to see that Zhao Feng's strength before possession was no small matter. In just a few months, he had reached the true lord rank. He had tamed the Yinming bird and had a mysterious pet that could instantly kill great Origin Core realm sovereign lords. How can an ordinary person do all of this? Grandpa Zhao, this is one of my compensations. A small porcelain bottle appeared in Zhao Feng's hand, and inside it was a clear spring. Compensation, Grandpa Zhao growled. I don't need any compensation. You only need to use this body to carry on Feng, Er's dying wish, and live on well. Drink it, and you will have the life to see. Zhao Feng smiled and said. Grandpa Zhao was slightly puzzled as he drank the water from the bottle. In the next instant, His expression changed dramatically, and he exclaimed, "Immortal. Spring?" Grandpa Zhao felt that his old body was regaining its vitality. In the past, he had been crippled and his lifespan decreased. He only had less than 10 years of lifespan left. However, after drinking the immortal spring, he felt as if time had returned. His lifespan had increased by 1,000 years. Extending your lifespan is Zhao Feng's wish, as well as the wish you've hidden in your heart. Zhao Feng said slowly. "You." Grandpa Zhao's face went red. Indeed, in the depths of his heart, he once had such an extravagant hope when he carefully nurtured Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng had experienced 2 lives, so how could he not see these details? After that, Zhao Feng took out several precious herbs and holy liquids to heal Grandpa Zhao's crippled leg. These precious medicines were used to heal the injuries of kings and emperors. Injuries at the origin core realm were obviously nothing to them. In just a short hour, Grandpa Zhao's lifespan had increased by 1,000 years. His crippled leg was healed, and it was only a matter of time before his cultivation recovered. All of this was like a dream. Now that my lifespan has increased by 1,000 years, I can now fight against the great origin core realm and even void god realm kings. Grandpa Zhao felt good, but he also felt guilty. No matter what, his grandson's death couldn't be changed. The new Zhao Feng, before his eyes, had changed his fate with a wave of his hand. Furthermore, if he wanted to take revenge for his grandson and revive the Zhao clan, he might need to rely on this man. I hope that more people don't know about this secret. Grandpa Zhao had a request. If this matter was spread out, it wouldn't benefit the Zhao clan at all. Okay, Zhao Feng had the same intention. On the same day, the upper echelon of the Zhao clan held a secret meeting and invited Zhao Feng. Feng is the biggest hope of the Yunling Zhao clan. The Yin family definitely won't give up on him. Family head Zhao Tianyi said. At this point in time, the upper echelon of the Zhao clan knew that Zhao Feng had been assassinated by the Yin family while he was in the clan. As long as Zhao Feng was still alive, the Zhao clan would have a chance to rise again no matter how badly they lost. Zhao Feng was a once-in-a-thousand-years genius of the Zhao clan, and he had even joined the 10,000 Sacred Clan. In the past few months, this genius had become stronger and stronger, and he was becoming more and more of a threat. It could be predicted. With Zhao Feng's outstanding performance, he might become a disciple of a king, and the divine illusion dimension might be his turning point. You can use me as bait. Zhao Feng smiled and said. His goal this time was to destroy the Yin family. The next morning, Zhao Feng flew to the top of a mountain several hundred miles away from the Zhao family castle by himself. The mountain peak was shrouded in clouds and mist. Zhao Feng sat cross-legged on the ground and began to cultivate. At this moment in time, Zhao Feng circulated the 10,000 divine thoughts technique, the sacred lightning body, and the wind lightning technique. He didn't need to cultivate the 10,000 divine thoughts technique again this time. As long as his soul power recovered, the 10,000 divine thoughts technique would return to its peak. This was the same logic as Emperor Intent. This was because the core of Zhao Feng's soul and consciousness had been placed in the god's spiritual eye. The first time the god's spiritual eye entered his body wasn't considered possession. His soul didn't change. That was the core. Zhao Feng remembered that the first time the god's spiritual eye entered his body, it lost almost all of its life force. Under the nourishment of his body, the god's spiritual eye started to recover and change his body. Several days later, Zhao Feng's cultivation had increased once again, and he easily reached the late-stage True Lord rank. The 5-elemental wind lightning technique had stabilized at the 4th level, and the water of wind lightning within his body was nourishing his sacred lightning body. However, it would take some time for the sacred lightning body to break through to the 4th level. Once my sacred lightning body breaks through to the 4th level, I'll be able to dominate the origin core realm with just my body alone. Zhao Feng was filled with expectation. The 4th level of the sacred lightning body was indeed a dividing line, and it was comparable to the 4th to 6th levels of the 5 elemental wind lightning technique. On this night, whoosh, More than a dozen black figures appeared in the clouds. That brat can cultivate as if there's no one else around. This is obviously the Zhao clan's bait. However, our strength far surpasses the Zhao clan's, so we can take them all out at once. The weakest of these black figures was at the late stage, small origin core realm. The two at the front were a male and female, and they were both half-step void god realms. Mu Yu, you lead the team to deal with the upper echelon of the Zhao clan. I'll go and kill that brat myself. One of the tall and muscular youths said. Gu Hong, he's just a measly true lord rank. Do you need to do it yourself? One of the great origin core realms said. The tall and muscular youth, Gu Hong, said, according to some reports, this brat is extremely weird and has many secrets on him. Gu Hong's eyes flickered with a fierce light, mixed with a trace of greed. A junior at the true human rank had changed so much in just a few months. No one would believe him if he said he didn't have any secrets. Go, Gu Hong ordered, and more than a dozen figures leaped toward the mountain Zhao Feng was on. The other leader, Mu Yu, was a slender female whose cultivation had also reached the half-step void god realm. She led 3 great origin core realms and 9 late-stage and peak small origin core realms. Enemy attack. The black figures were discovered when they got within 200 to 300 miles of the mountain Zhao Feng was on. The upper echelon of the Zhao clan within 100 to 200 miles of Zhao Feng's mountain leaped out and started to attack. Kill. Gu Hong and Mu Yu were 2 half-step void god realms. On the other hand, the Zhao clan only had 1 half-step void god realm Grand Elder. The other origin core realms weren't as strong as the other side. Watch out. The other side has 2 half-step void god realms. The voice of the Zhao clan's Grand Elder pierced through the night. The 2 half-step void god realms from the Yin family were external reinforcements. Only a third of the group was from the Yin family. Old bastard, stay here. Mu Yu, who was a half-step king, slashed out with her silver sword, creating a cloud of lightning that instantly flattened several mountains. Arg, an upper echelon of the Zhao clan hiding nearby, was instantly sliced in half. The Grand Elder of the Zhao clan could only go over. However, Gu Hong, who was even stronger, charged toward Zhao Feng's mountain by himself. The upper echelon of the Zhao clan were suppressed and couldn't stop him. Feng, grandfather Zhao had appeared behind Zhao Feng. His weathered face was filled with worry, and his voice trembled as he looked at the approaching half-step void god realm. Meow. The little thieving cat jumped onto his shoulder. Let me. Zhao Feng extended his hand and stopped the little thieving cat. After saying this, his black hair turned purple and danced wildly in the night wind. Illusion City Maze. A purple mist slowly spun in Zhao Feng's left eye. Shua. The scenery of this world underwent an earth-shattering change. What's going on? The experts on the Yin family side were trapped in an ancient, foggy city of illusions, spinning in circles on the spot. These people seemed to be separated by an invisible maze. No matter how hard they attacked, they were only able to stay within a few yards of them. Illusion City Maze, that's a domain-level illusion. Zhao Feng sat on the ground. Although his soul intent had only recovered to 1/10 of its peak, the eye bloodline technique of his god spiritual, I was able to deal a lot of damage to normal kings. Arg. Blood-curdling screams could be heard continuously in the illusory maze. The experts of the Zhao clan weren't affected by the domain-level Illusion City maze at all. Half the time it took to make tea later, all the experts of the Yin family were dead. Zhao Feng still sat on the ground and didn't move from the beginning to the end. Grandfather Zhao was stunned. He only saw Zhao Feng stare with his left eye, and all the experts of the Yin family just stood there, waiting to be killed. Chapter 777. Near the Zhao family castle, a battle of life and death had ended so quickly like this. The upper echelon of the Zhao clan felt as if they were in a dream. Everyone instinctively turned around and looked at Zhao Feng, who was on the peak of a mountain. The young man had a head of faint purple hair that danced in the wind. His eyes were closed as he went back to cultivating. Although they didn't see the details, instinct and judgment told them that the key to this battle was this youth. It's Feng, who turned the situation around. He saved the family. Grandfather Zhao woke up and exclaimed. His beard trembled as he was filled with pride and excitement. Others did not see the details of the process, but he, who was close at hand, saw it clearly. Suddenly, the youth on the peak and the thieving cat on his shoulder became even more mysterious in everyone's eyes. The upper echelon of the Zhao clan had shock and respect in their eyes. The Zhao clan originally didn't have any chance of winning this battle, and it was a situation where 9 out of 10 would die. But in the battle, the Yin family's experts all seemed to have been bewitched, and they were at their mercy. Search for the survivors. Organize the spoils of war. The Grand Elder of the Zhao clan, who was a half-step king, ordered. This time, the cultivations of the Yin family were all at the late-stage small origin core realm, and there were several great origin core realms and half-step kings. Therefore, the spoils of war were extremely plentiful. Feng, you can handle these spoils of war. Grandfather Zhao walked up and started to organize the spoils of war. Being the grandfather, he obviously had to get the spoils of war for his grandson. Zhao Feng's eyes scanned over the spoils of war and was slightly disappointed. He picked out a few water elemental resources and some treasures of decent value. He might not be interested in ordinary treasures, or they might not be of any use to him. In this period of time, the Zhao family had sent people to search for the remaining enemies of the Yin family, targeting those that had escaped and the spies. 2,000 miles away, in an old city. How is this possible? They were completely wiped out? The burly youth in a black robe was slightly dazed and bewildered. If Zhao Feng was here, he would definitely recognize this young man as Luo Zun. Lord King, none of the people who participated in the attack managed to escape. The Zhao clan is still searching for the Yin family scouts. A black-robed man from the shadow-killing sect said with a frightened expression. As for the truth of the battle, those who did not participate had no idea at all. I think that Zhao Feng must have had help from an expert. As soon as he came back, the Zhao clan set up a bait to ambush him. The black-clothed man said carefully. More than half of the Yin family's upper echelon had been mobilized for this attack. In addition, the Luo family had also mobilized some people. Luo Zun even volunteered to be in charge of everything in secret. But he didn't expect such a powerful lineup, which could threaten the survival of the Zhao clan, was completely wiped out in such a short time. For a moment, Luo Zun fell into deep thought. How could he not see that there was a 99% chance that there was an expert helping Zhao Feng? During the battle, just now, Luo Zun's spiritual sense had probed. However, his spiritual sense was disturbed by a mysterious power, and he didn't know why his subordinates were dying one by one. The center of the mysterious power came from Zhao Feng, who was the bait. Retreat to the Yin family first. Luo Zun's eyes were sharp as he suddenly thought of something. After this battle, the majority of the Yin family's elites were injured. The Zhao clan would definitely take this chance to destroy the Yin family. Once the Yin family was destroyed, the Zhao clan would be the strongest force in the Yunling region. At that time, if the Luo family wanted to interfere with the Yunling region, they would be too far away. The current situation, Luo Zun and the Luo family could only act in secret and couldn't show themselves. This was because the Zhao clan and the Luo family were connected by marriage. It was the Luo family who wanted to break off the marriage first, and the Zhao clan wrote the divorce letter later. This matter had already spread outside. On top of that, Zhao Feng was a core disciple of the 10,000 Sacred Clan, and it was only a matter of time before he became a core disciple. If the Luo family attacked the Zhao clan for no reason, Zhao Feng could ask the 10,000 Sacred Clan to take action, or he could report it to the Duke's palace. Due to morals and the rules of the game, the Luo family couldn't do anything. Otherwise, even if they succeeded, the 8th prince's reputation would be affected. If the 8th prince wanted to become the crown prince and the future sacred emperor, he couldn't leave behind any obvious evidence. At the peak of the Yang family castle, Zhao Feng sat cross-legged and cultivated the five elemental wind lightning technique and the golden koan's sacred lightning body. It was as if the incredible battle just now had nothing to do with him. Fenger, this battle hurt the Yin family, and they lost all their elites. Now is the best chance to destroy the Yin family. Zhao Qianni's eyes twinkled with the flames of ambition. The upper echelon of the family were filled with battle intent, and they looked forward to the moment when they could unify the Yunling region. Okay, let's go. Zhao Feng nodded his head and agreed. On the same night, the Zhao family fortress gathered their elites. There were 100 or 200 of them who rode on flying beasts or void ships as they charged toward the Yin family. The Yin family was in the northern part of the Yunling region, while the Zhao clan was in the southern part. The two families had competed for many years in the north and south. At the break of dawn, the elites of the Zhao clan charged into the Yin family's main camp, Yin family castle. When they arrived, the Yin family was already waiting. The entire Yin family castle had activated its defensive array, and the atmosphere was solemn. The experts of the Yin family castle had expressions of despair, and their battle intent was low. The strength of the two sides wasn't on the same level. At the peak of the cloud sea, the Zhao clan speed is faster than I imagined. The Luo family won't be able to help in time. Luo Zun looked down from the sky. His divine sense was extremely restrained as he observed the Zhao clan. He focused on Zhao Feng and the little thieving cat on his shoulder. He didn't know if it was intentional or not. Zhao Feng smirked and glanced in his direction. Luo Zun's heart shook. How could a junior at the True Lord rank sense the divine sense of a void god realm? If this was just a coincidence, then what happened next made Luo Zun's heart shake. Meow. The little cat on Zhao Feng's shoulder glanced lazily and disdainfully toward Luo Zun's direction. How can this cat? Luo Zun felt that all of this had toppled his common sense. He was certain that Zhao Feng and the little thieving cat knew of his existence. What was worse was that the human and cat knew of his existence, but acted as if they didn't see him. Thinking back to the weirdness of the battle just now, Luo Zun felt that the human and cat weren't simple. They definitely had some secrets. Kill. The 200 elites of the Zhao clan unleashed a fierce attack. Wang, the defensive array of the Yin family castle, started to shake. At this moment in time, the Yin family was lacking experts and had lost their backbone. Attack, the southwest corner. Zhao Feng sat on the Yiming bird and suddenly commanded the battle. The Zhao family trusted him without a doubt and immediately attacked the northwest corner of the Yin family city. The northwest corner is the flaw in the Yin family castle's array and defense. Luo Zun couldn't help but take a deep breath. His king-level divine sense had only found this out after inspecting it. On the other hand, Zhao Feng on the Yiming bird immediately saw the flaw. Pung, pung, crack. The array in the northwest corner soon started to crack. Helplessness and despair appeared on the faces of those within the Yin family castle. I can't let the Zhao clan succeed so easily. Luo Zun had a cold expression. I need to at least test out Zhao Feng's strength. After saying this, he hid in the clouds and circulated his king intent. A faintly discernible magnificent power instantly condensed at the crack in the array and blocked the waves of attacks. Luo Zun's attacks were hidden. Only those close to the half-step void god realm would be able to sense it. However, as long as Luo Zun didn't attack, the Zhao clan wouldn't have any evidence. The pure magnificent power was hidden and didn't show any characteristics. Zhao Feng snickered coldly. This level of attack couldn't stop the Zhao clan at all. Immediately, he then commanded the Zhao clan to split into 4 groups and attack different directions of the Yin family castle. Magnificent power was the power of a void god realm king merging with heaven and earth and using the power of heaven and earth. That Luo Zun can't split the magnificent power of heaven and earth into several parts, unless he's cultivated the 10,000 divine thoughts technique and has reached a very high level in the Tao of Soul. Zhao Feng had a confident expression. The magnificent power of a king was targeted at a single dimension. Even at his peak, he could only split the emperor's magnificent power into a few parts. Zhao Feng could also use the magnificent power of heaven and earth, but he didn't want to reveal it yet. This brat, the expression of Luo Zun, who was on the clouds, changed dramatically. If he covered the entire Yin family castle with his magnificent power, it would be too obvious and spread out. Crack! Boom! The experts of the Zhao clan soon charged into the Yin family castle. Meow meow! The little thieving cat turned into a silver-gray streak of light and charged into the Yin family castle. Ark! Several screams sounded as the upper echelon of the Yin family became souls under the little thieving cat's claws. The situation couldn't be stopped. The people of the Yin family castle gave up on the array and city and started to retreat. The elites of the Zhao clan were already prepared and started to chase after them. What followed was a massacre. Zhao Feng didn't even need to do anything. He only needed to keep an eye on Luo Zun. Preposterous! Luo Zun floated in the air with an ugly expression, and he felt extremely frustrated. However, with the destruction of the Yin family, the situation around the Yunling area had already been decided. Unless a void god realm king appeared and interfered, or the Luo family attacked directly. However, Zhao Feng had the 10,000 Sacred Clan, which was close to a 3-star power behind him. Normal people wouldn't interfere so easily. What worried Luo Zun the most was how immeasurable Zhao Feng was. Even when the Zhao clan took over the Yin family castle, Luo Zun still couldn't see through Zhao Feng's strength. He couldn't even see through the little cat. Next, the Zhao clan started to take the spoils of war from the Yin family castle. The Zhao clan still had the right to choose. There's 2 little useful Soul Dao resources. However, I did get some Water Dao resources and body strengthening resources. Zhao Feng organized the spoils of war. If the Zhao clan wanted to unify the Yunling area, they would need to take most of the Yin family's resources, which Zhao Feng couldn't take. If he wanted to help Zhao Feng recover, it would be best if he had king-level Soul Dao resources. However, putting aside the Yin family, such Soul Dao resources were extremely rare even in 2-star and 3-star sections. Luo Zun, I advise the Luo family to stop. Otherwise, the Luo family might become the next Yin family. A light voice suddenly traveled to the clouds. Luo Zun, who was about to leave, froze. That voice was Zhao Feng's warning. Chapter 778. Luo Zun's figure that was about to leave suddenly froze, and shock appeared on his face. Because Zhao Feng's warning sounded in his mind. Furthermore, he didn't feel any signs beforehand. To be able to do this meant that Luo Zun's soul level was at least slightly higher than his. True Lord rank bastard. Do you think you can threaten the Luo family with the help of a measly king? Luo Zun suppressed the shock in his heart as his expression darkened. His divine sense message landed next to Zhao Feng's ear, but it wasn't able to reach Zhao Feng's soul level. This scene caused his heart to tremble. He couldn't sense Zhao Feng's soul level at all. From his senses, Zhao Feng was like a dead ocean. Although Luo Zun was domineering, he was extremely cautious. Zhao Feng and the little thieving cat's unfathomable aura made him wary. Furthermore, the Luo family couldn't directly attack the Zhao clan right now. Then let's try. Zhao Feng closed his eyes and acted like he wasn't going to do anything. What a brat. In the true Great Gan Lord dynasty, the measly Yunling Zhao clan isn't even a chess piece. At its peak, the 10,000 sacred clans still had a place, but now, Luo Zun stood proudly in the clouds as a cold smile appeared on his face. Vaguely, there was a trace of arrogance and superiority in his words. Luo Zun was using his own method to warn and counterattack Zhao Feng and destroy the latter's psychological support. In the Great Gan Lord dynasty, the Luo family and the Zhao clan weren't even on the stage, and the declining 10,000 sacred clan only had a tiny bit of power left. However, Luo Zun, was connected to the 8th prince of the Great Gan Lord dynasty. The Great Gan Imperials were the true rulers of the continent zone and the oceans around it. Luo Zun. Faint ripples appeared in Zhao Feng's heart. Not only was Luo Zun talented, but he also managed to find a place to stir up the tides in this turbulent era. His talent and potential were even valued by the royal family. Zhao Feng. Luo Zun's tone was filled with confidence. It's not too late if you turn back now. Your Zhao clan can only live for a year at most. Maybe you can live for a while under the protection of the 10,000 sacred clan, but in the end, you will die in the river of history. When Zhao Feng heard this, a strange feeling arose in his heart. He was the one who warned Luo Zun, but in the end, Luo Zun turned the tables on him and talked about the bigger picture of the dynasty, asking him to repent. It was as though Luo Zun was the victor of history. Zhao Feng sat cross-legged and did not say anything else. His warning had already been delivered. It was up to the other party whether to listen or not. But from the looks of it, Luo Zun was so confident that he didn't listen. Between the clouds, Luo Zun looked slightly gloomy as he flew toward the Luo family. Zhao Feng's willpower was beyond his imagination. What Luo Zun said just now was to destroy Zhao Feng's fighting spirit from a psychological level. However, Zhao Feng wasn't moved at all and was too lazy to argue with him. What does that brat rely on? Luo Zun felt defeated. This time, he had volunteered to take action against the Zhao clan and controlled everything from the shadows. The result was that he had to return in defeat. He was the #1 genius of the Tianfeng Great Island Zone, but he was defeated by a youth more than a dozen years younger than him. The humiliation and helplessness made him feel extremely frustrated. In terms of age, Zhao Feng, who was 14 or 15 years old, wasn't even half his age. Brother Luo. When they got close to the Luo family, the sound of flying came from the clouds along with the disturbance of a king's magnificent power. 8th Prince. Luo Zun's expression relaxed slightly as he looked at the gentle male wearing a dragon robe. Brother Luo, what's wrong? Did this mission not go well? The 8th Prince could tell that Luo Zun's expression wasn't right. The two were close, so Luo Zun didn't hide anything and told him what happened. From the looks of it, that Zhao Feng isn't simple. Ever since the battle with Xi and Wuheng, Brother Luo hasn't met such a setback. The 8th Prince's eyes twinkled as he murmured. From his expression, Luo Zun's frustration this time was second only to the last time. Xi and Wuheng. Luo Zun muttered this name as his eyes became filled with hatred and battle intent. I'll take care of this brat first and then go challenge him. The 8th Prince knew that the defeat half a year ago was Luo Zun's biggest humiliation. In less than 10 moves, Luo Zun had lost to a half-step king. After analyzing it, I think that Xi and Wuheng purposely suppressed his cultivation to the half-step king level and didn't want to break through to the Void God realm. After all, his intent has reached the level of an emperor. The 8th Prince said, when mentioning Xi and Wuheng, he was filled with regret. The 8th Prince wasn't able to recruit such a genius, but the 4th Prince, who was the strongest and had the highest chance of becoming the crown prince, successfully made him a guest advisor. What benefit does he get from purposely suppressing his cultivation? Could it be? Luo Zun suddenly thought of something. That's right, the divine illusion dimension. The 8th Prince smiled faintly. The path to the divine illusion dimension is very dangerous for a Void God realm king. However, half-step kings have at least a 70% chance of success. With this analysis, everything made sense. In order to enter the divine illusion dimension safely, Xi and Wuheng suppressed his cultivation to the half-step king level. Whoosh, whoosh. The two flew side by side toward the Luo family. 8th Prince, did you like my sister's interaction? Luo Zun suddenly smiled. The 8th Prince had a high status. If his little sister could marry him, it would be a great help to him and the Luo family. Even if his little sister was just a concubine, the Luo family would be willing. Lady Shui, I fell in love with her at first sight, but the 8th Prince smiled bitterly. Is Shui, and not willing? Luo Zun thought of a problem. The Luo family and his brother had never tried to get Luo Shu's opinion regarding this marriage and the eighth prince's interference. From Luo Zun's perspective, being able to marry the eighth prince, even if it was just as a concubine, was something that normal girls would want. Furthermore, the eighth prince had promised that he would do his best to make Luo Shu his first wife, within a room near a mountain and a lake in the Luo family. Father, big brother, when did I agree to break off the marriage? Did you ever try to get my opinion? A girl with long hair in a green dress started to cry. The girl's skin was as white as jade, and she was as beautiful as a fairy. She was like a lotus that had been washed by the rain. Facing the girls crying, Luo Zun and his father looked at each other in silence. Their father and Luo Zun both loved Luo Shu a lot. However, the head of the Luo family and Luo Zun had never tried to get Luo Shu's opinion on breaking off the marriage. As a result, Luo Shu's reputation had been ruined by Zhao Feng's letter of divorce. A wave of guilt appeared in their hearts, but it was soon extinguished. Compared to this, being related to the eighth prince and the Imperials was something that the Luo family and Luo Zun couldn't resist. The next day, Zhao Feng returned to the Yang family castle and continued to cultivate in his courtyard. After destroying the Yin family, Zhao Feng had accumulated a large amount of resources and body-strengthening medicines, which was enough for him to cultivate for a while. At this moment in time, his cultivation had reached the late-stage True Lord rank, and it was still steadily increasing. However, he still needed some motivation to break through to the fourth level of the Golden Kun Sacred Lightning Body. Seeing this, Zhao Feng put most of his effort into cultivating the 5 elemental wind lightning technique. The higher the level of the 5 elemental wind lightning technique, the more effective it would be. Several days later, Zhao Feng's cultivation was close to the peak True Lord rank, and his 5 elemental wind lightning technique was also close to the peak 4th level. My Golden Kun Sacred Lightning Body should be able to break through to the 4th level in another half a month, and my cultivation should be able to recover to the Origin Core realm in 2 months. Zhao Feng murmured in his heart. The reconstruction plan was carried out in an orderly manner. When Zhao Feng returned to the Void God realm, his foundation would be much stronger than his previous life, and it would increase his chances of breaking through to the Mystic Light realm. On this day, Zhao Feng's cultivation was interrupted. Feng, the Luo family has sent people over, and they're looking for you. Grandfather Zhao hurried over. The Luo family? Zhao Feng got up and walked out of the courtyard. A while later, Zhao Feng saw the representatives of the Luo family in a side hall of the Zhao clan. There were a total of 3 people from the Luo family. The one in the middle was a primal core realm old man. He had a fat face and big ears, and he had the gift of gab. Zhao Feng, I'm representing the family head to invite you to the Luo family's banquet to discuss the marriage. The family head will think that you're just being childish, and I heard that Lady Luo Shui has a good impression of you. The fat-faced old man chattered on. Zhao Feng and company from the Zhao clan were stunned. Zhao Feng obviously wasn't interested in the banquet, and he didn't want to go. Furthermore, only Zhao Feng was invited to the banquet. Feng, this is probably a scheme of the Luo family. The upper echelons of the Zhao clan were worried. Grandfather Zhao suspected that this was a trap. I've already written the divorce letter. There's no need to find out. Zhao Feng said with a frown. However, the fat-faced elder wasn't willing to give up. He wanted to use his silver tongue to persuade Zhao Feng and promised him all kinds of dreams. I'll be leaving. Zhao Feng didn't bother with him. He left the 3 representatives of the Luo family behind and prepared to cultivate again. Brat, don't be so arrogant. Seeing this, the fat-faced elder was finally angry. The Luo family is giving you face by inviting you. A small Zhao clan is like an egg hitting a rock in front of the Luo family. The fat-faced elder scolded and lectured at the same time. Zhao Feng vaguely understood that this was a scheme of the Luo family. If he injured this person, the Luo family would have a reason to use force. At a certain moment, the sound of flying came from the sky. accompanied by the intent of a half-step king. Is Zhao Feng here? A general in blue robes floated in the air above the Zhao clan and pushed out a shiny silver token. Wang, the token expanded to 1,000 feet and was surrounded by purple dragon patterns. A mysterious and unfathomable monarch dragon might connected with the dynasty's luck in the vast universe. Lord Token, some of the upper echelons of the Zhao clan, including the fat-faced elder, were stunned. Under the noble order, everyone had the illusion that they were facing a monarch, and they instinctively felt a sense of submission. Greetings, Lord. The upper echelons of the Zhao clan and the fat-faced elder bowed respectfully. Those with low cultivation even knelt down instinctively. I am. Zhao Feng walked over with a surprised expression. Zhao Feng, the Lord Palace wants you to be a guest. The blue-robed general's gaze landed on Zhao Feng, and he faintly smiled in a polite manner. The Lord Palace wants me to be a guest? The fat-faced elder and the other two from the Luo family seemed to choke. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.